Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for a massive matchup here. South Africa versus the Barbarians. Now, this is a rematch of a game that we saw just last year. It's a warm-up match before the July Internationals. The Barbars team is looking pretty handy on paper, but the South African side, Rassie, has thrown a few curveballs in. Certainly going to be an epic game. We've got a big old build-up plan because of the fact that the international rugby year is just about to start up. But looking through at the starting sides, first of all, for the South Africans, they have gone with a mixture in terms of this front row. Of course, the experience of Oxenshire as the number one. Andre Hugo Venter slotting in at 2. He has got past Springbok experience, now back into the environment and hoping to really prove why he should be there throughout the July Internationals. Carlos Sadie, he will be slotting in as the number 3. This man has been strong for Bordeaux. He also used to be very strong for the Lions too. Now gets that chance in a bot kit. Yet again, Riley Norton, the youngster from the under-20s, he has captained that side and had some pretty decent success in the under-20s environment. He has signed to a URC team and now is going to hopefully be able to keep on developing. He could be a future bot captain. Rassie has kept his eye on him for a little while, and he partners with a veteran in Franco Mostert, who slots in as the number 5, Sio Kolisi as the number 6, with Peter Steph Toy slotting in at 7. Peter Steph Toy, of course, you always know what you're going to get with him. He's going to be world class. He's going to really make it relentless in the breakdowns for the Barbars, although they have got Lachlan Boschia, who's known as a bit of a menace with the breakdown work as well. Jasper Vesa, the big, physical, dangerous, unpredictable number 8 here to close out the Springbok 4-pack. Grant Williams as the 9, with Kewan Horn slotting in at 10. Edwald van der Merwe is out on the left wing. Andre Esterhuizen and Jesse Creel will make up the midfield, with Cheslin Colby and Apalele Fasi. He's had a few injury troubles throughout this season, but he's now back. It's that number 15. I will also mention Kewan Horn is something that not many people would have been predicting, that is for sure. So a little bit of a curveball, but as there always is when you're dealing with Rassie Erasmus. Looking through at the Barbarians, they have got international players all over the place. Mako Vivas, Elliot D, and Darcy Ray as the front rowers. An Argentine in the locks with with Franco Molina, and then Alex Moon slots in as the 5. Some more Argentinian flair with Guido Petty at 6. Lachlan Boschia playing 7, and Miracle Faialangi slotting in as the number 8. That man was with Moana Pacifica. His future at the moment, I would call it uncertain, because Moana seem to have gone under. They don't seem to be taking part in Super Rugby next year, so there's an opportunity for him, as well as a few of those other Moana boys, to try and find a contract elsewhere. But if he has a massive game here, the thing is, a lot of sides will be watching this internationally in terms of club level rugby. So who knows, maybe this is the opportunity that he needs to try and put his name in someone's equation. In terms of the backline, the captain, TJ Perenara, as the number 9, of course, an ex-All Black, as well as playing in Japan currently, has got a lot of experience. He has played South Africa a few times before, but not many of these players that are in the mix today. Thomas Albanoz as the number 10. Duan van der Merwe, the Scottishman, or the Scottish winger, out there on the left-hand side. Alex Nankervel and Virimi Bakatawa for a lot of power in the midfield. Andrew Callaway out on the right, and what a Kalant. Now, that's an interesting choice from the Barbarians. It's a player that obviously Rassie wasn't that keen on. So he is, I believe, the lone South African in terms of the starting lineup, as well as the players making their way off the bench as well. But those are the starting teams, ladies and gentlemen. I will mention we are still actually around 55 minutes away from the kickoff of this contest, but we are going to be looking through at the upcoming box season. Of course, we know that Rassie, roughly, I'd say not too long at all after this game is finished, Rassie will be announcing his July international squad. So that's another thing to talk about here in the build-up. Who will be the players from potentially South Africa A who did enough to put themselves in the Rassie equation of a squad. A huge respect for you when you dress up for the big games. I hope it's a good game. Cheers from Durban. I do too. We haven't had a close game this weekend yet. We had a one-sided URC final, one-sided Super Rugby final, one-sided South Africa versus Zimbabwe game. France versus England was separated by 16 points for their warm-up games. So We need a game going down to the wire. But I'll be honest, if South Africa play as well as they can, I don't think this is going to be it. It's always the tricky part of being in the Barbarians with such a limited time together. And of course, you could argue the same thing, how South Africa, they've only been traveling or training together for a short period of time. But it is very different when you're all from the same country and you're just re-gelling in some cases. Whereas for the Barbars, normally the biggest amount of training that they used to do was to see who could down the most pints on the nightlife. So, of course, it's changed a bit now. Modern rugby's a bit different to the old school days, but still, they will lack chemistry. They will probably take risks, and it could be a very entertaining game with both of those factors included in. South Africa win by 40, says Big Rig Joe for his prediction. Barbars by 5, Mostert is bad, says Mike Bester. Though I think it's a good combination. Like Riley Norton, it is an interesting choice to have him playing at 4 when he plays a majority of his under-20s career at 5. I don't know whether or not that's just to fit Mostert in or whether it is a little bit more strategic. Maybe they see Norton as eventually becoming a 4, but I guess South Africa, they played Vincent Tachuka as a 4, and he's normally loose forward, even though he can play lock. So maybe it's just a day of mixing up the 4s for the South Africans. We have got their what channel? Will you be watching the Barbars game on? 1 second, I'll get you the TV guide. But I did see it on Sky Sport, which is great news because that is one more than they did have on the last one. It is on Sky Sport 6 here in New Zealand, so that is your watching option if you are a Kiwi. Super Sport, DSTV, all those normal options for you guys in South Africa for being able to watch this game as well. Who scored in the South Africa A team, says Martin. So we did see tries from Ahmed. We saw Ahmad Khan, Nico Stain. We saw Hassan Peed. Also Marcus Muller. And then who else did we have in the end? There was one forward who scored. Or was there? No, it might have only been the backs who were able to score them. I think I said 5 or 6 there. There was one right at the end from Yako Williams too. I'm not sure if that's all of them or whether I maybe missed one. I think that was all the tries though that they were able to score. I hope Fundamerva is ready to cover his opposite. Fundamerva. Yeah, it doesn't happen very often that it's going to be Fundamerva versus Fundamerva, although they are both playing 11, so there's a chance that they don't get to go head-to-head too often. It's going to be Colby versus Callaway. In terms of those names, almost similar. If they don't switch jerseys after the match, it's simply unacceptable. I don't know whether or not they'd both fit in the jerseys. I think that, don't get me wrong, Edwald Fundamerva, he'd probably have plenty of spare space in Duhan Fundamerva's kit, but I don't think Duhan would fit into Edwald's. Definitely not with how tight they make the shirts nowadays, that you can't end up scragging them from behind. Hey, nice haircut, says Mark. I didn't get one, but thank you. I'm due for one, that is for sure, but you haven't had one as of yet. Long time no see, says Yandre. Welcome in, and hope you are doing extremely well. Of course, with the Springboks first game of the year, we're going to see a few familiar faces from last season. They had a eventful 2025, the Boks, finishing November in style with some brilliant wins. But they started off last year with a massive performance up against the Barbarians. Shave head needed soon, says Juan Pierre Bosch. But it's winter at the moment here in New Zealand. We can't afford to be getting shaved head yet, because or else then I'll need a beanie full time. Duhan Fundamerva is better as Edwald Fundamerva, says Martin. Also Rugby Box says Amando there. And also all this development today is a testament to Rassie Erasmus. He's done incredible things for South Africa. And know the Hamish tie always brings bad luck for one team. It's yet another blowout. Hashtag the curse of the tie. And Springbok team sheet, the fly half experiment will be interesting. Yeah, because that's the thing. Kieran Horn's been a phenomenal talent in the number 15 jersey throughout the year for the Lions. Normally they have been, using him as a starter. But in this case, having him as a 10, don't get me wrong, he actually stylistically doesn't, I think, or won't be out of place in that number 10 jersey. But it's just an interesting choice. I understand it though, because Sasha's injured. Hondre Pollard was tied up with the Bulls. And then also you've got the Armani Libok situation where don't know when he's going to be back in there. But the other option would have been to go with someone like an Ahmed, the youngster from the under-20s who just had himself a chance up against Zimbabwe. Got a red card in the end, but up until then had been playing very well. But yeah, I think we'll see a few curveballs throughout this season. There's no denying that. There always is at least a few of them. But this is probably one of the more experimental lineups we will see from Rassie Erasmus. But you can kind of afford to do it. Like last year, for instance, they went into that game up against the Barbarians. They had a few switches and whatnot as well, and they still managed to go on and get themselves a great win. I'm not sure if this is a thing outside of the States, but happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Says Justin, I think we've got Father's Day on the same day. Hang on. NZ Father's Day. Oh, no, it's 6th of September for us here in New Zealand. Why don't we have it on the same day as everyone else? Are we having to be riding Marty Libok for years? See headline side? Well, the thing is, right, Rassie Erasmus keeps on selecting him. So as much as people like to badmouth him and say, oh, it's a silly player to have, you know, we've been told the whole way through our YouTubing, you're not allowed to critique Rassie Erasmus, you're not allowed to question him. So for him to be continuously selecting Marty Libok is obviously a part of his long-term plan. And for us, our simpletons, as I like to call us, who don't have a coaching degree or don't have a degree in general, we just sit there and we watch what Rassie does. And we either go, yep, that's good. Or if it's not good, we because you're not allowed to question the man who's won a whole heap of World Cups. We have got there Scott Robertson, coach for the Barbars. Yeah, so he's going to be in charge. Now, the thing is, I know that there are Kiwis waiting by their keyboard, ready to go, ha, Scott Robertson's side lost. Wasn't ever going to be the All Blacks coach. But the thing is, going to South Africa with a side you put together less than a week ago, or like a week ago, is pretty much just taking lambs to slaughter. Now, if they can do well in this game, I would be impressed. If they lose this game by anything less than 20, I think that is a massive achievement for this Barbarians team. But the reality is this Box side, even though they've got a bit of experimentation, they should be better. And they should be more well-drilled. And they should be more tactical. And they should get a good win. If the All Blacks win one game in South Africa, I will shave my hair off, says Martin. Well, Hamish fellow watchers, I hope to see an entertaining game. Ruben Love about to be the New Zealand Marty Libok. Wait, you're saying that like it's a good thing or a bad thing? Like, because Ruben Love in that final was absolutely phenomenal and he got his kicks over. So I assume you're saying it like it's a good thing, right? We have there South Africa win New Zealand in all 4 games. You shave your, I don't know what that emoji is. And Marty has got hard player. I think just as kicking for his bowls lets him down, says Daryl. Alex Nankerville wasn't capitalised and it's bothering me. Now it bothers me. I didn't notice it until now. The A looks so small, doesn't it? Father's Day is tomorrow, having a more spry. We have got there, you can never have too many backups, 10s in a test squad, says Albert. I mean, look at the World Cup for the All Blacks. What was it, 15, where they had like all of those guys all coming in, getting injured? Now, Colin Slade, they had Stephen Donald in there. I think that was because of Carter's original injury, right? Please for Scott Robinson to coach the Barbarians, says Stuart. Yeah, well, he's not allowed to coach any other Tier 1 team. So the fact that he's allowed to coach the Barbars is quite nice because it keeps him in the conversation per se. And if his side can do extremely well here, maybe it gets him an international contract. We have got there 2011. Sorry, one too late in terms of the World Cup. Hi, says Jordan. And we have there great work, buddy, says Kalitza. Thank you very much. We have still got plenty more coming up for not just this weekend, but also for the rugby in general. There is a game that has taken place in around 45 minutes' time between these two teams. But next weekend, the Barbarians will be in action again. They are up against the Welsh for that game taking place next week. The Under-20 Championship is starting up. Carter groin, Cruder knee, Slade groin. If South Africa win New Zealand in all 4 games, you shave your head clean, says Martin. No, we'll leave the hair on for now because one day it's not going to grow back. So we kind of got to make the most of it while it's here. We have got there high, says Jordan. That was also not supposed to be a pun, but a very good one at that. But looking through at South Africa, what is to come for this side? Now, normally we have pop-ups, but for some weird reason, they weren't actually allowing me to load them in. So I could just hold up my phone as if it's like a pop-up, but I think you guys would see right through it, which is why I'm also just telling you that that's what's happening. So, where do I normally? I have it about there, don't I? Go on. Is it going to do it? Not going to do it, is it? But pretty much that really blurry thing, I'll just hold it down here and tell you about it. England, taking place in 2 weeks' time. South Africa versus the English. That'll be the first game of the Nations Championship for those two sides. Then from there, they play the Scottish the week after and then Wales the week after that. So 3 big matches up against European sides, but they are all going to be taking place in South Africa. Just leave the sides, shave only the top off. Strategic. I like it. But no. I actually had that haircut back at primary school for a bad hair day. Like they used to have a thing out, it was like a gold coin donation, and you'd do like a bad hair day so people would spike up their hair and whatnot. And because I was going to be getting a buzz cut the next day anyway, I was like, just shave that bit, leave the sides. So you can imagine what that would look like on a child. And they rung my parents because they thought that they like had sent me to school like that as a joke, rather than like that I actually wanted to. So yeah, it was quite a fun situation. But I've done that hairstyle before. I don't think I'd go back to it. It didn't really suit me, I'd have to say. We have. I don't care if they have one. It says Jack. Oh no, that's with the one above us. I hope we all won the World Cup next year. Norton is tipped as a future Bok captain. Russie is right to bring him in now. With seniors like CM and Peter Steph around him. Exactly right. I think that, similar to what we saw for Lekanyawam in the South Africa A game, having those guys who have been there, done that before, can add just a world of confidence to the youngsters. You look at someone like a Peter Steph and you look at the knowledge that he can give. The guys like Franco Mostert, the same. Some people are a bit critical of Mostert, but at the same time, him being in that locking duo with Riley Norton, like that's got to be a dream for the youngster to be able to play alongside a guy that he would have watched lift that World Cup back in 2019 and again in 2023. Like that's just the kind of mentor that you want. Why are you so dressed up for a rugby match? Says Alyssa, we always dress up for the rugby matches when it comes to the big match feel. I also just couldn't be bothered taking the tie and everything off. So I just left it on. I was going to say I can go out to like a wedding after this, but it's 3 a.m. by the time this game finishes. So I don't think there'll be too many weddings on at that hour of the morning. Hey, I missed you. Sean from South Africa. I live in Cambodia. So welcome back, Sean. It is greatly appreciated you being here. Of course, we are getting closer and closer to the start of this matchup. But yeah, I mentioned those games, England, Scotland, and Wales. I do want to ask you guys who are here currently, of those 3 games, do you see it being 3 wins for the South Africans, or do you think they might have a loss throughout July? If so, let me know. Who's the game? I know that England's the one that's bringing a little bit of the rivalry and a bit of intenseness into that match. I know that everyone wants to see Henry Pollock on South African soil. Do you have a lot of friends, Hamish? I have a few, I guess. Do people I play like cricket with count as friends, or are they just like teammates? And no loss, says Sean. And also, what happened to the Bulls' power? Shame, try or 2 no tries. Says Riff, yeah, they probably ended up a little bit more hard done by on the scoreboard than that game suggested, but they still sadly were not good enough. Throughout the one, South Africa dominates England and Scotland, but somehow loses to Wales, because why not? Rugby is crazy, says Justin. Last time I said hi, I was with the previous Bok game. What time would the kickoff be? So we have still got another 40 minutes until the kickoff. Relatively long build up for this one because there was quite a bit to talk about in terms of the squad. The fact that it's going to be announced straight after this game pretty much. Are they warming up, says Alyssa? I believe they will be. We don't get that coverage till 12:30 here in New Zealand though. So we've still got another 12 minutes before we get to see any sort of pictures of the field. But from that game prior between South Africa and Zimbabwe, it looks like it's a really nice day. Looked like the sun was out. And we have got there, or Sophia these days with you dressed up and all, says Craig. No idea, really. We haven't seen her for like a week and a half or so. She's just popped off the face of the earth. We have got there, we need a loss after learning curve. Whereas George, is he alive? Yeah, no, he's still going well. He came round last weekend with one of the other Kiwi lads as well. They ended up staying the night here, and we went golfing and whatnot. We were there. Howdy, Hamish and chat, says Operator Hoop. Welcome in. Show the boys your pants, says Mr. Delmo. They're really boring. They're just black at this stage. Just plain old track pants, keeping the legs warm. Really not exciting. Anyone can watch this game, right? Theoretically in New Zealand, if you got Sky Sport, you can, which is awesome. Because that last South Africa A versus Zimbabwe game wasn't actually being shown on. While you're dressed as a shoe salesman, says Martin. Me and George, we were having a conversation about that the other day. Shoe salesman and lady shoe salesman, lady shoe saleswoman. Is that a term? Or are you just a salesperson of shoes? Maybe just salesperson of shoes. Must be a rough job. Like you probably don't get paid enough to touch people's feet. Unless you're into that. But if you are, then that's probably a bit weird to do that as a job. I think the Boks versus England will be close, says Stuart. I hope it is. I hope that we get some games throughout July that really just get you on the edge of the seat. We have got there, I want one of those shirts. You love that shirt, we love you. Says Estelle there. I can't even remember where I got the shirt. I actually got it for a wedding, and then I've just worn it heaps. But I keep on getting stick because I've got the tie that matches it. But apparently you're not supposed to do that. That's a fashion no-no. But as you guys will know, I wear a hoodie like 90% of the year. So I'm probably a walking fashion no-no per se. Barbarians going to smack down today. 48-45 would be a very good game. If we got any sort of scoreline along those lines, I think a lot of people would be happy. But we'll look through at the benches, ladies and gentlemen, for this contest. I will put my arms in a little bit so that you guys can see them. For the Springboks off the bench, JJ Kutsia. They have got Ntutoko Machunu, Zachary Porthin, Ben Jason Dixon, Paul de Villiers, Evan Rus, then also Faf de Klerk and Vusi Moyo, the last man off of the bench. Big opportunity for Moyo to show what he can do. One of the younger players in the setup alongside the likes of a Porthin as well and Riley Norton. But chance to really do something big here and try and put your name in the conversation. Definitely with the injury of Sasha Feinberg. Zulu for the Barbarians off their bench. They have got Oviedo. They've got Ollie Kebble. Also there, Delgado, Isaac Rodder, the Aussie. Liam McConnell, Santiago Arata. He is the Uruguayan, I believe. Harry Plummer. And then it is Tuidraki Samo Vodre, the Fijian, who has been playing for the Fijian Draw. Are you going to be live streaming the game, bro? Says Jacob Neepkins. Oh, by any chance, are you Jacob Ratamaitavuki Neepkins, or are you just a fan of the guy? But sadly, any match footage or audio will get us taken straight off YouTube with a copyright strike due to illegally showing the footage. But we are going to be doing the play-by-play all throughout this contest. So be sure to stick around there. We have got the as a South African. I think the New Zealand versus Ireland game is going to be great because New Zealand might be underestimating them and focusing too much on the tour. Says Neville. Maybe. I think that just Eden Park in general has that little bit of a big match concentration feel. That's me. Bro, yes, sir. No stress, man. Surely it's not, though, right? Although, to be fair, well, you're either him or a fan of the Highlanders, I guess. Do you think, well, I was about to ask, do you think he's going to make the All Blacks? But if you're him, then do you think you're going to make the All Blacks for this season? Over there, try, no tries. Who was the Bulls referee for the Irish and also as a South African? I think the New Zealand. Oh no, I read that one. Let's not forget that in 1966, Al Bundy scored 4 touchdowns in a single game. That's an old school reference, isn't it? Your hot woman would approve of your shirt and tie. My hot woman. I don't think there's one of those in the equation anymore, to be fair. I have currently got the highlights of the Football World Cup taking place currently. I think that's the current Football World Cup. It might actually be another one, but we're only about 7 minutes away from them showing the field to us here in New Zealand. Does New Zealand play against Ireland? They do at Eden Park, so it's going to be a tough one. But the Kiwis will be looking to defend that record. Barbarians win incoming. I don't see it. I think they've been together for far too little amount of time. And I think it's going to be a pretty brutal one if the Boks start to get their momentum. But yeah, the best case scenario here for the Barbars, I think, is to lose by only about 10. Which sounds harsh. But at the same time, you know, that lack of cohesion and chemistry is always going to be a bit of a challenge. I should mention it is not only the July internationals that we are going to get to see the Boks in action. There is no rugby championship, but they have got a warm-up game up against Argentina on the 8th of August. Then from there, the 4 matches up against New Zealand taking place in 63 days' time. And then from there, the last game on the 84th. They then play Australia and then the November internationals of Italy, France, and Ireland. But that one's at the Aviva. And we have got there, you got us fans out here in Cape Town, Hot Women Club, Sunshine and Tequilas. And crazy thing, Scotland have had the same head coach for 9 years. Hard to know what they would consider a par campaign, to be honest, says Blindside. Yeah. Yeah, see, Scotland's an interesting one because every once in a while they play a game and you go, oh, damn, Scotland are like, they're back, you know, they're big, they're going to do well. And then something happens in the next game that they just throw it away. I think the Six Nations is probably the perfect example of that. I don't think I've heard you sneeze today. I don't think I get as bad a hay fever where I am currently as where I like, or how badly I get it back home. So it's quite nice in a way, not having a sneeze every 5 seconds. I'm confident Nemkins could afford to have Sky and watch games. A nice try in Boston, says Jason. I was going to say that as well, to be fair, but maybe he's on a night out at the moment and just wants to find out what's happening in the game. We haven't got the crying for the Bulls, says Ruth. And also New Zealand Football watch along for their last game if they have a chance of qualifying in the last one. Could do, because I think they play Egypt next, right? So we could consider that Belgium one. When's that happening? I think that's next week sometime, right? Where are you, Hamish, in Australia? Not quite, no. I'm still in New Zealand, just in a different location. Is it shown on Sky? It is shown on Sky. Sky Sports 6 is the option for being able to watch it. And we have got the high roof afternoon from Derbs. Says Brian, I just had to make sure that there was Sky Sports 6. I was looking at it because it was like blending in. But yeah, Sky Sports 6 is your option. Super Sport is your option. And a South Africa, I almost said Australia. I don't know if there's too many options in Australia. I think someone asked earlier on, and I read it in my head, but I forgot to read it out loud. But I thought it was going to be on Stan, but I'm not sure they picked up the licensing. Thoughts on TJ being captain? I think it's an all right choice. I don't see anyone else in the lineup that I would consider as a better captain option than TJ Perenara. I think that, your backup. No, I'm looking through at the side. I don't think I have a backup. I think that TJ's the best man for the job. Now, he will be fired up for this game because the crazy thing is, right, I think it's been about 13 years since TJ Perenara has been a Barbarian. It might be a little bit less than that, but it's certainly been a long time because, of course, when he was involved with the All Blacks, it meant that he wasn't eligible to play for the Barbars because he was normally tied up with prior commitments. But to be out there at this time, like it's going to be kind of interesting to see how he goes. But he has played against some of these guys from the old school days. Are there criteria to be able to play for the Barbarians? It pretty much the only thing that's your criteria is don't be a guy who's in an international squad. The Egypt game is 1 p.m, so just after the squad announcement. When's the Belgium game? Is that next weekend or is that midweek? Not on Stan, I've got it in Melbourne. You see, that's a shame. I feel, what about Rugby Pass TV for you guys in Australia? Is that an option? I wonder if I can subscribe to Supersport in Cambodia. I don't think they'd let you. I think you'd need a VPN first of all. But then if you're willing to pay for Supersport, it's quite expensive though if you're just watching it for this one game. I think it will be available in a couple places around the UK as well, but I'm not sure which ones are their main broadcasters. How long before kickoff? We've still got 30 minutes for the kickoff of this contest. I started this one extremely early just because it felt like a good time to just chat about the squad and chat about everything international rugby as it's coming up in the very near future. Why isn't Aaron Smith a Barbarian then? Obviously, Scott Robertson didn't select him. You also got to remember, depending on the players, some of them, most of these guys, their teams, they'll be knocked out early of competitions, or, you pretty much phone the guys that you want to put together in a squad, and then if they're unavailable, you keep on phoning people. But I don't think Aaron Smith's been a Barbarian ever. Has he ever been in the Barbars side, or has he always been either All Blacks or nothing? Stan does have the Junior World Champs. Okay, well, that's a bonus then that they've got some form of it being shown. 3 p.m. your time on Saturday the 27th. Okay, so there'll be an afternoon game in that case. You have to be able to drink alcohol to play for the Barbars, says Fleshin. Yeah, I said about that earlier on, how back in the old school days, the training that they did was to see who was the best one at the drinking side of things. And what is Rassi watching for in this game? Just a warm-up kind of game. I think he'll be looking at a few of the guys who he would consider, because that's the thing. We can't underestimate the fact that Rassi would have spreadsheet after spreadsheet after spreadsheet notes on everyone. Like, he will have a list of guys that he's like, they're right there, maybe. And this game could determine whether or not he pulls the trigger on a couple young guys, or whether he goes, okay, not quite ready, I'll wait a little bit longer. We've got to remember, he's announced his squad for the July Internationals very close after this game. So those guys will be the ones who either have already got their name on that sheet, who have avoided injury, or are the guys who really have stepped up throughout this weekend for either South Africa or South Africa A. And wasn't the lucky legend, or the legend Richard Barracuda, Buckman a Barbarian, says Jason. Netflix is bad, Supersport is better, says Sean there. And how long till kickoff? We have got around 29 minutes till the kickoff. They have just started the coverage here in New Zealand, though, in terms of showing the ground. It is still an absolutely perler of an afternoon as New Zealand playing against Ireland today. No, not today. They play them in like 3 weeks' time, actually. Might even be 4 weeks' time. As their last game in July. I think the Barbarians may give the Springboks a game today. I hope they do, but I also do think it's going to be a tricky one for them. And why isn't Rassi naming Chris Smith yet? That is one that only Rassi will know. He'll have some sort of reasoning behind it. But, yeah, it seems like now, with the fact that in the SAA team, he went with Ahmed, and the fact that he's got Sasha, Lebok, Pollard, Kewan Horn, even if he goes well here. Like, for me, personally, looking through at the fact that Sasha was going to be injured and looking at the fact that Pollard was going to be unavailable, this is kind of a game that maybe Chris Smith could have gone 10, if we're being honest. But at the same time, I think they wanted to get Upper Fasi at 15 and give Kewan Horn some sort of opportunity. We have there, Chris Smith Lions have a great season at 10, young dude. And watching supporting from Uzbekistan. Very excited to see Kewan at 10, says the real terrorist. I think New Zealand Pump Island Hurricanes look so dangerous, man. Yeah, I wonder how many of those Hurricanes guys are going to make their way into Dave Rennie's All Black squad. It is being announced on Monday. So we are going to be covering that one on the channel too. I have mixed feelings about having Pollard as a key member for the next World Cup, says Brian. Yeah, although the thing is, I feel like people are judging his Bulls season too hard because, and this statement's going to maybe get me in trouble, but I'm all right with it. It's currently middle of the night. But I would say the perfect example of why the URC doesn't matter for Springbok selection at times is you look at the Sharks. Look at all those players who play bloody awful for the Sharks, go on, Springbok, green and gold, world class. That is the Rassi effect and the international mindset that just switches. So just because Pollard's had a few shaky games for the Bulls does not mean that he won't come into July and score a last-minute drop goal or a last-minute penalty to beat the English. You know, he's that type of player, how he knows when to play at international level and to have that mindset switch no matter what he's done the season prior. So I think that that's one of those ones, again, you look at the Sharks as the example, how you can go from looking like a really bang average player in the URC to being one of the best guys in international rugby. Has that got me in trouble or does that make sense? I hope it makes sense or else I'm just ranting. We have there, I agree, Pollard has had a terrible season. Says LB. We have there, Henry Pollock rocks that rugby pitch and it's bloody hot in Cape Town. 28 degrees, that is really warm in Cape Town at the moment. How warm is it at Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium, ladies and gents? Do we know roughly the temperature? Sasha off the bench. Says Sven there. Tony Brown said when Sasha was in a dip. Says Daryl, and how long before kickoff? We have got about 25 minutes remaining before we get underway for this one. W Take says blindside. And Rennie indicated he had already locked in team accepting injury prior to the grand final. Yeah, I felt like that would be the case. And we didn't really see anyone get too badly injured that I know of. We saw maybe a head knock for Finau and maybe a head knock for Vai, but I think they were the two main ones in terms of injuries. 28 degrees is very warm for winter, to be honest, says LB. And the URC keeps the box fit, says Fleshin in there too. We are just seeing the South African warm-up with Riley Norton. It's going to be a big chance for that young man. Also off the bench, I have to say I'm very happy to see Paul de Villiers' name down. He's been a pretty incredible option throughout the season for the Stormers. Even Roos to his own extent too. He just gives away a few too many penalties for a lot of people's liking. But Paul de Villiers, the jackling that he is able to do, the try scored by Evan Roos. This game will not be over around that 60-minute mark. That is when we're probably going to see the Boks up the tempo that little bit more, try and take the Barbars into very deep water. I'm not expecting a massive score. I'm more interested to see how the new guys perform, says Robert. And Pollard also very accurate goal kicker. Is it on Sky Sport 1? It is on Sky Sport 6 here in New Zealand. The coverage has just started as well recently. So, yeah, about 25 minutes away from the start of this matchup. Good point and good example with my local Sharks, Hamish. Yes, we play when players put on the Springbok jersey under Rassi, they play very different, says Brian. And yes, it's on Sky Sport. And the Barbarians have the right backline to take on the Boks. But their words must work super, super hard. And we have got also, Hamish, that statement got you in deep trouble. Rusty is like a horse racing trainer, knows how to get them to peak even when out of form, says Blindside. And the ball's sunk like a Titanic, Hamish. Yeah, they had a rough game. But I mentioned about it earlier on today, and I've mentioned multiple times since then. We haven't had a close game of rugby yet, and we need one for this weekend. The closest that we have had was 16 points difference between the sides, and that was England XV versus France XV. We need one where we get like a little bit of a down to the wire, but I just don't know if this is it. Northampton in the final of the Premiership could be that game. We'll keep you informed about that one as it does progress as well. And the Springboks will win it. It's a warm-up game for 12 Nation Championship. And that's something that I always say, like, Russie's smart. And some people like to say, nah, don't want to admit it. But he's one of the few coaches who have the brains and enough thinking to have a warm-up game before July. Because most sides just ignore it. They just go, oh, well, we'll go cold turkey into our first game and then wonder why they're rusty. Whereas Rusty, I had to make sure it didn't sound like I was saying rusty there, but he at least chucks them in now, gives them a chance here, and then, you know, even if it's only you're playing for 30 minutes, or you're playing in like a situation where the game is actually feeling like an international, you just seem to click into kind of international mode. I mean, the Supreme Final, it actually kicks off at the exact same time as this game as well. So unfortunately, there will be a bit of an overlap there, but we will keep you informed about both of the games that are taking place. 1 second, we'll go like this. And like that as well. But yeah, they've mentioned about the test squad for Rasi. And he is going to announce it. Where is it? I saw it earlier on about what date they're going to announce the actual team. I believe it is later today for the July Internationals. How was your weekend? It's been good so far. It's been enjoyable. It's actually gone by very quickly. Meanwhile, the NRL last 2 games were decided by 1 point. I just realised this game clashes with the Premiership final. It's going to be a way better watch than this one-sided one says Fleshin. And also, Bulls were suffering from massive jet lag. We can't expect them to play great rugby. And also, meanwhile, I read that one of the Barbarians at the right back line, but forwards must work very hard. Do you agree? Yes. I think when you've got Sia Kolisi, Peter Steftotoy, and Jasper Thessa as a loose forward trio for the Boks, it is always going to be an uphill battle. And for the Barbars, they will lack a little bit of cohesion, I think is an understatement, really, in terms of how they'll look out there on the field. There will be rust. There will be a little bit of indecision. Lachlan Boshier, though, is a world-class player in terms of being able to get steals in the breakdown. Guido Petty, when he controls that aggression, can be dangerous too. And Medical Langi, he was a bit more quiet in the second half of Moana Pacifica's Super Rugby season, but perhaps now will be fired up, rearing to go for this chance. Because, like I said, a lot of international clubs around the world, whether that's clubs in France, Japan, anywhere around the place, they'll be watching this game, keeping a close eye on it, and maybe it ends up getting yourself a reward of a contract. One of those overseas side. Their forwards is not that bad. No, like they're not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just whether or not they work as nicely and smoothly as the South Africans do. We have you there. What games do Barbarians play this year? Next week they play the Welsh. And then outside of that, I don't think they've got any other games confirmed for later on as of yet. And I am sure everyone says, Dan, you're welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well. But anyone who hasn't already, be sure to get in some predictions in terms of who you think will be able to win this game. Also, who is going to be the man of the match? I know it's very early now, but let me know. Who do you think is going to step up here well and truly book themselves a spot potentially in the July squad? As long as the Saints lose, I'm happy. Pollock needs to be knocked down a peg. He really gets under the skin of South Africans, doesn't he? And I can imagine that social media is going to erupt if Northampton win. Definitely if he has a good game, because he's had a lot of them recently for Northampton. He's been one of the star players out there on the park. Russie is coaching equivalent of Sexton, Skelton, de Klerk. He's great if he's on your side and jerk if he's against you, says Justin. Well, he's probably, yeah, you've described him pretty well there, how also tactically you want him in your corner. You know, you don't want to see him across from you because you know that he's got a few tricks up his sleeve. But if he's in your corner, you're happy enough and you say, go for it. Do everything that you can. And Andre Esterhuizen will be the man of the match. Could be. He's got some power, Andre. He's playing more as a stock standard inside centre for this game rather than making his way off the bench as a hybrid or starting in the trio. I'm going to be honest, the Barbarians play their structure. I think they will give the Box a match, says Verratti. And also a new member, I should say, sorry, for Seven Boys TV. Thank you very much. It is greatly appreciated. You hit that membership button. You have access to those emojis, including a Bok one. It's got that little RSA with a Bok on it. I see a Khaleesi man of the match, the selectors. I have a bias towards him, says Xander. And I'm going big here, says Yako. If you want to beat the Springboks, you need to beat their tight five first. And yeah, I think that the scrums up front, like Carlos Sadie, he a big boy. Oxenshare, big boy. Oh, I thought that they were about to say something else there. They were saying about our... Oh, it's Stephen Kitsov. He's doing something. I thought they were about to say that Peter Steph Toy was out. I thought there was going to be some sort of late exclusion. Who agrees with love for ABSD? You know, I think he's definitely put his name in the hat with what he was able to do just recently. I don't really understand why he upsets the Box fans so much. Shows he's winning. Says Fleshin. Now, this is proper presenting. Love the suit, mate. Says Brendan. Yeah, see, I did have it on underneath for the Zimbabwe Zimbabwe versus South Africa A game. But I just had the hoodie over the top. But yeah, it's a big match. It's got that really nice feel about it for this contest. How first opportunity. That looked like Vincent Koch there. I think he's just having a bit of a warm-up with the team, although he's not named in the side for today. Helping them warm up. We have got there is Brut still a thing. I have no idea what that is. And also, I'm going big here. 50 points to 8 in favour of the Box. Okay, so you're going with a big win. Do you have a score prediction, Hamish? I'm thinking not as one-sided as we saw last year, but I think they're still going to be able to gel quite nicely, the Box, and I would be surprised if they won by less than 15. $2 for basic Supersport subscription, $40 for premium, says Sean Coleman. And also Mr. Incredible, says Craig. We finally made it. It's been a long wait for me, 75 days sober. This will be my first match without a couple of beers. Well, first of all, massive congratulations. Subjective funny there. But yeah, the Box back in action now. Where are the Barbarians from? Absolutely everywhere. It's the best way of describing it. They've got Argentines. They've got Scottish individuals. They've got New Zealanders. They've got Australians, Samoans, French, Fijian, South African. What a Gallant. This is going to be very interesting. The fact that Gallant is playing for, in a way, the enemy in this matchup. All of these other guys getting selected for South Africa A, getting selected for the Box. And then you've got What a Gallant, the outsider, who now is up against his side. If he outplays Afalele Fasi here, that's going to be very weird. Only because of the fact that he could probably then say, well, I've just beaten one of your best 15s and I'll be head on head, or head to head. But I don't think it would change Rusty's mind. I think he's pretty well set with who he's got. FYI games on SABC2, accessible via VPN, says Claudio there. And Fundamerva, any way to score. Which Fundamerva are we talking? Duhan or we talking Edwill? And Morat, what happened to him? He's heading to Japan. The big man. I think he also may have picked up an injury near the end of the season. Do you have historical stats of these two teams? Maybe, says Xander. I can tell you that they hadn't played each other for a very long time. And the Barbarians had a very good record up against the Box. But the most recent game, Rassi took it extremely seriously, and he beat the Barbarians 54 points to 7. Is Rus playing? He is going to be making his way off of the bench. Don the Con has said, when is the kickoff? The kickoff has taken place in just under 15 minutes' time. So we are very close. I can't believe I've been talking for 45 minutes. I am apologizing big time to you guys who have stuck around for that whole time. I'm in a very, very chatty mood today. The Barbarians could control their scrums. We could have a game here. And that's going to be the big question mark for myself anyway. Whether or not the set piece of the Barbars, and you could argue it's not just the scrums, but of course that is going to be a massive part of it. But the lineouts as well, can they keep the set piece in check? Because the Box, it would not surprise me one bit if they go for a rolling maul and try and go over the top of them and honeycomb. Now the Bulls players that should put on the Box jersey this year is Papier and Aronsa, honeycomb as well. So Would you go with anyone else in that Bulls environment? I feel like someone like a Stennekamp, a Wilco Low, you'd probably chuck in there as well, just based off what they've been able to do scrum-wise. Who else would you? Oh, Ruan Nokia, of course, you'd chuck that man in a heartbeat. The Bulls were horrible, says Daka. And I want to see savagery and skills, says how's it? Well, I think we're going to see all. In fact, I want to ask you guys a question. Oops. Yes or no? Ladies and gents, are we going to see one of those line-out lifts in the middle of the field from either side in this contest? You know the one we're talking about, the one that the box brought out, the one that we have seen from the junior sides in South Africa, and also more recently we saw it from, I think it was one of the under-20s. Well, this is weird. They're doing like a full rundown for the referee. They're putting his name. They're showing where he was born. They're showing his age. Do they normally do that? I don't think they normally do that, right? Ackerman, I can build the new Bulls team. Many are leaving. Yes, says Big Rig. And I, Hamish, hope you're well. Going to see Duan and Fuff, my favourite. Greetings from Cape Town. Says Penelope. And yeah, Hamish is playing for the Springboks at 1 against England. At 1. You're chucking me in as your number 1. Rather than Ox and Share, you're going to put me out there on the field up against the English. Are you trying to lose that game? Because, yeah, I've never scrummaged in my life, and I can't imagine I'll be any good at it. So I know Super Rugby Final was a fun watch, but Rennie, I must be sweating on New Zealand defensive structures. Yeah, although I mentioned about it at the time as well, I don't think there'll be that much panic, or not as much panic as some people think, because technically, like, you know, you go into that All Blacks environment, you've got different coaches, you've got different structures that you're going to be using anyway. So, like, you know, it should be different at an international level. We have got there, I think it's called Doxing Already Ready to Hate the Ref, says Justin. And why is this showing at 4 p.m. on SABC2? That is late. I think they have it delayed by an hour, don't they? On SABC, maybe. Showing the age is just rude, says Tanya. And also, it's okay, the English and Irish scrums are poor, so you can start at number 1. Or do you want to be 10? I'll take 10 over 1. I think don't get me anywhere near that scrum. And does that line out lifts make sense? Sometimes. It actually works quite well if a side doesn't know how to defend it. They should make you the Springbok coach. Nah, that would be too stressful. Even being a coach, like I coach a junior cricket team here. That's a stressful job. And also, all you get to hear about is all the 6-7 and whatnot, and all the random little things that now are popular with the kids. But no, like we made it through to the final, somehow won it, but that was more stressful than the World Cup final, watching New Zealand versus South Africa. But I think that was also because I was pretty neutral for that game. But yeah, I couldn't do anything more than coaching a junior side, or else I think I would actually like not be able to function. And England need to shape up fast, and they will have or they will have a bad Rugby World Cup, says Big Rig. And we have got there, what's the England score? So England 15 versus France 15. England lost by 16. For that contest, bro would put Oxen Shan on 15. Says Varati. Tell you what, he's got a bit of pace though. I just realised it's Ferrat, isn't it? I've been putting the E on rather than the edits part. Are you a very party? Says Mark. And I was a $1 for a scream, says Pedro. How loud a scream are we talking? But then the thing is as well, my microphone, like, it orderly or like automatically adjusts volume. So if I scream, it will come through as just the normal talking sound of this. We have got there, Sloveno Jacobs was the wrong choice for the Bulls. Was he? I thought he was one of the better players in the backline. Like, I actually, if I was to pick a Bulls player out of the whole of the backline that I thought played best, I would give it to Sloveno Jacobs from that game. I thought that he was quite smart in terms of the attacking moments. If it wasn't for Sam Prendergast getting right across covering, he would have probably scored a try too. But it seemed strong in defence from at least what I was picking up on. I think there were much worse players out there on the field than him. I played 9 in league. It was fun being in the middle. I having big lads either side to back me up for my verbal banter. And I imagine there was quite a bit with yourself, Jason. Playing 9's one of those ones how you've almost got the responsibility to talk trash while you're out there, don't you? You got to try and get under the opposition's skin. Scream now, bro, or I'll leave. Says Petro de Maya. You didn't answer the question about how loud of a scream. Like, you want a high pitch, a low pitch? There's a man dressed as a cow. in the stands, but we are currently 10 minutes away from the kickoff of this contest. Looking through at the starting lineups again for anyone who did miss them. Oxenschat in the front row alongside Andre Hugafinta and Carlos Sadie slotting in at 3. He had a good season for Bordeaux. He's a big, solid individual, and him and Ox is just once again showing how many props they have got available, because we've also got to remember we saw, unfortunately, the suspension of Azanati Klabakanye, which means that he is going to be unavailable for the Springboks, so they needed a new tight head prop, and Sadie seems to be the man. Does make his way in. Riley Norton and Franco Mostert as the locking duo, a combination of a younger and also an older player working together as one. I think they'd probably have about a good 15 years split between the age of those two men. Sia Kolisi, he will be the captain as the number 6. Peter Steftatoy at 7, and Jasper Vesa closes out the forward pack as the number 8. Those 3 men will go around the field trying to assert a bit of dominance with the forward pack. And the thing is, they can empty their gas tanks because they've got Paul de Villiers, Evan Russ, and Ben Jason Dixon, who can all make their way off the bench and help them out. And at the later stages, we have got there why so many games in Joburg this year for the Boks. I think it's just the way that it's kind of worked out. But obviously it's the location that they feel like they can draw a decent crowd to, or they like playing there maybe. Altitude, bit of a factor too. Looking through at the back line, Grant Williams, he has had a few injury problems throughout recent times, but he gets the chance now alongside Kewan Horn, who not many people would have been picking as their number 10. Edward van der Merwe out on the left wing, Cheslin Colby out on the right, and then Andre Esterhuizen and Jesse Creel will be slotting in as the midfield combo. Up at Lelefasi, he has the big opportunity now from that number 15 jersey after again having a few injuries. We have got there, how old are you? I am 26. Currently almost 1 a.m. here in New Zealand, so I'm aging at a rapid pace. Pollock is a type of fish, says Jason. It is. It's not a bad fish either, is it, Pollock? But now, Barbarians. Looking through at the starting lineup. Mako Vivas, Elliot D, and Darcy Ray as the number 3. Franco Molina and Alex Moon as the locking duo. Plenty of Argentinians featuring in this lineup with Guido Petty at 6. Lachlan Bouchier as the 7. He's been a Barbar quite a few times throughout recent years. And then also Miracle Faialangi at 8. Interesting choice, seeing as he has been playing 6 for Moana Pacifica throughout the whole of the Super Rugby season, with Samisi Tupo Taialoa as the man who's been playing in that number 8 jersey. TJ Perenara alongside Thomas Albanos as the 9 and 10. Duan Whanamerwe out on the left wing. Alex Nankerville and Barimi Vakatawa as the midfield with Andrew Callaway and Warakalant. I'm excited to see what that man can do. Imagine if he has a phenomenal game and just goes out there firing. Wonder Rassi's son-in-law is playing. He is indeed Andre Hugafinta in that number 2 jersey. I think Ellis Park is like Eden Park, says Stewart. I thought you were older. You sound very mature. Thank you. I feel like normally it depends on the time of day. When we get to like a random hour, like a 6 a.m. live stream, by then my brain's just not working anymore and I end up talking about food and probably sound like a toddler. But no, still young at heart, just not young in body. We have there who is Rassi's son-in-law, Andre Hugafinta is that man. And where in New Zealand are you from? Super Rugby winner thoughts. I really wanted a closer game between those two sides. I would have loved to see it go down to the wire, but we got anything but that. It was extremely one-sided. Where I'm from in New Zealand, normally I am based out of a small town between, that is Timaru and Oamaru. It's in the South Island, kind of midway up, halfway between Christchurch and Dunedin, but I'm actually further north at the moment. So, yeah. The weather's not great, though, no matter where you go in New Zealand at the moment. The windy conditions in Wellington was 62 kilometres of wind. Barba all day go Perenara. And the Bok all the way says John Paul. I saw Damien Delende on the field warming up. I think he was, yeah. They showed him earlier on, but they also showed Vincent Koch. So I think that they are potentially just having a few of those guys around the squad, like getting ready just in case. They normally do that. They'll have a few players as the standby options who have to go through all the warm-ups and everything with the side and then don't actually get the chance to play. Putting your coaching cap on, New Zealand have France first up in the Nations Championship. Do you start the new blood in deep end or save them for the second game versus Italy? I think you go with a relatively structured team in the first game and guys that have played well in Super Rugby. And then from there, you can start experimenting a little bit more with the Italian matchup. Although you can't experiment too much because Italy are known for being one of those sides that can just go out there and find a way of winning. I will mention, though, we are only sitting 5 minutes away from the start of this contest, ladies and gents. May the best team win, says Don the Con. With the gameplay here, we are going to be doing the play-by-play commentary. Sadly, we're not able to show any match footage or audio because it is illegal. But we will be doing the play-by-play, letting you know exactly what is happening out there on the field. I remember that game that they stole that ref penalised Perenata for yelling. And New Zealand up 10 in the 22. Then gives penalty away in the game. Ox got knock-on try. The kicker fast, says Cyrus. And also the block all the way. So, anyone who hasn't already, let me know your score predictions here. We are getting very close to the start of this game, moments away from the kickoff. I believe we will get to hear the South African... they've got to do the South African national anthem for this game. Of course, the Barbarians do not have an anthem of their own. But Scott Robertson coaching this side. It is Scott Robertson versus Rassie Erasmus. It happened a couple times last year. Those ones did go the way of Rassie, or 1-1 actually, was the split. New Zealand winning that game at Eden Park. South Africa then handing New Zealand their worst ever defeat on New Zealand soil after that. And what do you think will be the biggest move in this off-season in the sport of rugby? What do you think will be the biggest move? What do you mean? Like, as in, like, the biggest, like, win? Or, like, the biggest, like... Oh, you're talking, like, a transfer, right? I think wherever Ardie Savia ends up will be considered quite big. Because it's still uncertain. There's a chance that may even stay in Japan. We have got there South Africa 34, Barbarians 27. You know what? I would really enjoy that scoreline. Because that way we've at least had a little bit of a back and forth. That's the one thing that we've lacked throughout this weekend in the URC Super Rugby Finals, and then also South Africa A versus Zimbabwe. We didn't get a little bit of a feeling like, oh, either team can do this. We have there Galantas and the only South African of the Barbars. See, Ollie Kevo is also in the team. Says Arno, and also we've got there, did Scott Robertson ever do his breakdown while coaching the All Blacks? No. And I don't think he would have been allowed to. He wasn't really allowed to do too much in the All Blacks environment, Scott Robertson, to be fair to him. But they are bringing an Amazon package onto the field. This seems like the sponsors have fully... Oh, what's happened? Okay, that was a little bit of a weird situation. They had a guy with an Amazon box walking up, and then some random guy with a headset on said, stop, you're not allowed to walk any further yet. So I think that's supposed to be maybe the main sponsor of this game or something. Amish and friends, how are we all? Welcome in, Rhea. I'm doing well. Very excited for this game, and I can't believe we're only 2 minutes away from seeing the box back in action. Right now, they're bringing the Amazon package out. What's in the box? They just pretty much walked a box out onto the field, turned to the side, left with the box. Like, at least have, like, a Springbok jersey or something that you pull out and go, like, woohoo. Or, like, you know, some sort of, with, like, a rugby ball, maybe? They just literally, they're just dancing with a box on the side. Like, I am confused, but they're making money, I guess. I think they were taking pics. Says LB. Are we having their ball in the box? Maybe. Surely. There's got to be something, right? That's actually my Amazon delivery. Went to the wrong place, says Justin. But yeah, the Barbarians making their way out onto the field now. I hope there's more story with that box. And it's not just that we randomly had a box on the sideline for no reason whatsoever. The marketing team are geniuses. Maybe Ox in the box. Says 6-3. Yeah, something, you know, just, you know, this, yeah, I don't know what happened. Just a random box that they were delivering to the side of the field. The Barbarians wearing that classic black and white. The Barbarians last year not doing the best up against the South African team. We over there, why couldn't they make a ball round-shaped box? Maduan Whanamerva wearing the Barbarians kit today. Warra Kalant also up against a lot of his own side. The field looks good though, to be fair. And it played pretty well last match between South Africa A and Zimbabwe. The only thing was a few handling errors. We're still learning rugby in the States. And actually, I've learned more from you. So thanks for my question. Is the World Cup over a year and a half away? Will the older players be affected? I think we'll see a few guys dropping off before that World Cup. And as we progress that little bit closer I think that injuries will play a factor too. The other three franchises need to challenge the Chiefs and the Canes. Artie will need to come back at Super at the World Cup, yeah, including other Wrens, one in the squad. Yeah, see, Retallick, where does he end up? When will the game play? They are just about to start. They have just got the South African national anthem that they are now singing, but then after that is finished, we will be underway for the South Africa versus Springboks matchup. Do, of course, let me know your score predictions for this game too, ladies and gentlemen. Who is going to be the first try scorer as well? I think we're going to see a run down the... Oopsies, I almost knocked everything over. But I think we're going to see a run down the wing. Cheslin Colby. And then inside ball to Grant Williams. There we go. Why did I go so specific? I should have just said Grant Williams. That would have been much better than trying to get super fancy with it. And what's in the box is now trending. And Colby is the South African kicker. Yeah, they are going to give him the opportunity with the kicking tee, according to Rassie Erasmus. And then they have also got the option of course, Vusi Moyo to make his way off the bench. Nice to hear TJ playing. He seems to be one of those guys that internationally, I think he gets more respect than he does in New Zealand, which is actually quite cool in a way. Like, it's not cool that he doesn't get the respect in New Zealand, but it's quite cool that overseas supporters do like TJ Perenara, if that makes sense, and kind of, have that high level of respect for what that man's been able to do. I think that sometimes Kiwis do forget how pivotal he was at times for the All Blacks as well as in Super Rugby. We have there Jack in the box, says Estelle, and Duan van der Merwe will score the first try. And we have got, they didn't cheat that game, says Cyrus, and box it, baby, says Ruth. But the South African national anthem has just about come to a close, which means now we are just about underway. Is Colby playing 80 minutes? Well, they haven't started the game yet, so I'll tell you after 80 minutes. And I promise you it's cake for Ox in the box, says Albert. Oh, they're playing around with the box on the sideline. Are they going to deliver it onto the field with the Amazon box? Maybe. The referee in charge of this game, though, it is Morne Ferreira. I support Scotland as I have family there, hence the interest in Duan and how he will fit in. I'm South African, but I've always liked TJ. He's underrated, says Arnold. Yeah, see, he was always in the era where Aaron Smith was the main guy that got talked about. Okay, now they're bringing the box onto the field. I think this is the ball in the box, by the looks of it. We have the awesome weather in Cape Town. They should have played here. Well, it's pretty nice at this location too, though. But the Springboks, are they going to get off to a massive start in this contest? Oh, he's got to take the tape off the box. Yeah, that was one of the most awkward deliveries of the ball I've seen. But they've got it now, and they're about to get underway. Hello, Hamish and everyone. Finally, some international rugby on. Hope everyone enjoys the game. Score predictions for everyone. Here's Brett. I'm thinking anything less than a loss by over 15 for the Barbars is a good result. I think Jasper will go for a hit, but hopefully not. Because the thing is, if you get suspended in this game, you're out for July more than likely. I'll let the action begin, says John Paul. But it is going to be the Springboks kicking off this game from right to left. And balls and boxes are fixed, says Albert. I'm trying not to smile too much, but you can see the excitement here. International rugby is well and truly back, and Kewan Horn kicks this one off. And this is regarded as a friendly, by the way. We haven't even got into the Nations Championship as of yet, but the Barbarians have got the possession inside of their own 22. TJ Perenara passes across to Boshier. Man, who was very unlucky in terms of timing-wise with the All Blacks. He was playing for the Chiefs and then went over to Japan. He's been playing some very solid seasons since then. Our first try will be scored by a forward, probably Peter Steph-Toy. Says Red Howe. Currently the ball's still on the side of the Barbars. Tackle made by Carlos Sadie and TJ Perenara putting up the box kick. It's going into touch. Will now be the line out for the Springboks. Who's going to be confirmed number 9 for the All Blacks for the new coach? Any idea? Cam Royard. I think that's going to be the first choice. Then it's between Ratama and Hotham, I would say, for second. And then you could even argue that a bolter like a Lennox or a Pledger or a Preston could find themselves in the equation a little bit further down the line. Now going off to the left-hand side, short ball from Grant Williams to Andre Esterhuizen. Williams moving it away. Kieran Horn passes with the skip pass out to Upper Lele Fasi. He goes for the kick in behind, being chased after by two of the Bok players right on his own goal line here. Duan for the Merva. Passes across to Albanoz, who's done well to sink the slipper into it. And not just that, that is a phenomenal kick with the amount of pressure that he was under. And he has managed to get a good 40 metres down the field while also having a man right on him. And lad, you caught it, Amish? Says Albert, and also we have got there, get that one back. And also we have got there Peter Steph Toy, another monster of a player, says Ruth. Yeah, the biggest thing for both of these sides, well, particularly for South Africa, though, is just avoid injuries. Throwing Riley Norton up early, winning the line out. Williams round the halfway line goes to the captain, Kolisi. We're going to watch this for free. It depends on whereabouts you are in the world, but I know that I think Europe have a couple options, maybe. But I'm not 100% sure. Now, kicking this one downfield. Nice take. Oh no, in fact, knocked on by Oxenshire. Looked like he had it under control for a little bit of time, but we are going to get to see the first scrum of the day, and it will be the Barbarians who have got themselves the feed. But 2 minutes into this contest, it's been a fast start to this game already. Normally is with the Barbarians involved. Even when they are conceding, they make it exciting. They haven't conceded yet, though. And we have got there's Andy Ikes. No Nutella in stock. Used it all in Henry Pollock rather than on him. It's an interesting pastime. But TJ Petanata about to feed this ball in now for the scrum. And she's with disappointing in the final. I thought it would have been closer. Hurricanes totally deserved the win, says Anthony. You see, I wanted it to go right down to the wire. And, you know, one of those games that you could easily say, like, that was a good one. But it just, like, it was great for the Hurricanes, but it wasn't good at all for the Chiefs. Yep. Another reset. You're not one for a good laugh or try to avoid to lose focus. Can you fix the bottom left of your webcam? Do you cover up the South African player's number by accident? Typical Barbarians fan. Hang on. We'll move the green screen a little bit. There we go. That worked much better than I thought it was going to be honest. I thought it was going to all fall over. Pack weight's 912 kgs for the Barbarians compared to the 910 kgs of the Springboks. It's not too often that the Boks are outweighted in terms of a 4-pack, but normally when they get the scrum feed going, you get a bit more of a shove from this Bok pack overall. Now another scrum chance, TJ Petanata. Oh no, free kick goes the way of the Boks. And it looks like they want to take this one quickly. Jasper Visa decides that he will be the man to throw himself at the opposition, sitting 22 metres out from the line. Grant Williams goes back across to Peter Steph to Toy, wrestled down by Elliot D. And Williams again looking off to the short side. Andre Esterhuizen just didn't quite get that go forward that he was after for a start. They are still within the 22 of the Barbars. Now Grant Williams. Oh, good duck there from Carlos Sadie up a Lele Farsi. Skip pass on the outside to Seo Kolisi. One more pass to Edward Funamurva. And he will score the try for the South Africans. That looked a little bit too easy. We have got there also how full is the stadium. Not completely full, unfortunately. It's not full, says Martin there, but that is going to be the first try of the contest. And it's Edward Funamurva who goes in for it. It was just draw and pass out the back line. I think Carlos Sadie, he did his dodgeball skills, which was much needed in that scenario. A nice try, says Brett. And yeah, nice finish there from Edward Funamurva as well. And geez, it was effortless. Yeah, it was just a back line. Waddick Galant caught off the wing. And I think that was where he needed to be a little bit wider. This is going to be a massacre. So yeah, Big Rig Joe. A chance here for Cheslin Colby off the kicking tee. If there's anyone who can, you'll bet will cross the try line, Edwell. I'll pay $1,000 for a ticket to this game. And Cheslin Colby. Oh, he's knocked the cameraman almost over, but he has got that kick. So it is going to make the score now 7-0 in favour of South Africa. That's terrible. Shame on you, PE people. Well, they talked about the prices, and they have really boosted it up big time, so they tried to make a lot of money from this game, but yeah, it hasn't really translated into a full stadium, unfortunately. Good try, says Ruth. 5 minutes into this contest. And Edward Funamurva already crossing that try line. He was clinical last year as well. When given the chance, quite disgusting choice of venue. The people have voted with their show of tickets, really, PE, or whatever it's supposed to be called, says Gary. Right. You know how I mentioned about how Cheslin Colby seemed like he had collided with the cameraman? He did. And he's actually ended up with a cut above his eye because of it. I'm not sure how this has actually ended up happening. Normally the cameramen are out of the action. Good afternoon, Hamish. Just survived the Bulls slaughter. Thanks for what you've done for South Africa. See, it's a cool story. No worries at all. But we are going to be here, of course, throughout the whole season. Cheslin Colby is going to be all right. But he's asking for the scrum cap back. For some reason, that reminds me of, who remembers, I think it was Australia versus South Africa in Test match cricket. And it might have been at the MCG. I might be wrong about the location. But who remembers when Nokia got cleaned up by the spider cam? Anyone remember that? Or is that a bit of a niche reference? I imagine being the cameraman that did that, you'd be pretty nervous, wouldn't you? Now going off to the left-hand side here. South Africa in possession, and Kieran Horn decides to fire it downfield off his left boot. Nicely taken there for Waterkalant. Now running this one back, draw and pass. Goes to Thomas Albanoz, who has 2 box right in front of him. Now TJ Perenara moves it across to Alex Nankervel. Now Molina. Oh, Faialangi's just sat down Cheslin Colby well and truly. Oh, that's a dirty shot from Sia Kolisi as well, coming through with the elbow afterwards. Looks like it's going to be play on for now, though. Apelele Fasi, taken by Veremi Fakatawa. Stays on the side of the Barbars, but this game's getting aggressive and it's getting wide open. Perenara back across to the left-hand side. Waterkalant with a skip pass out to Miracle Faialangi. He gets through Cheslin Colby again. Inside pass to Perenara, who goes with the skip pass on the outside. Didn't quite have the pace that he was after, but 5 metres out from the line. The Barbars are flying towards the box try line, but Andre Ugafenta trying to get the turnover, wasn't able to get it. Elliot D delays his pass. And an advantage now for the box not rolling away. Franco Molina tries to get through a couple. In fact, that's Isaac Rodder. A bit of a late change of the starting lineup because I think it was supposed to be Moon, and that'll go back now for the penalty. We have there. This is the second collision from that cameraman. The first collision happened when the little mascots brought the ball on. The cameraman collided with one of the kids. See, I saw that kid go back. I think he might have either lost his shoe or he did something or like left something behind. That seemed to be that he changed direction for that reason. But TJ Perenara now going back across to the right-hand side. Miracle Faialangi this time lined up by Sia Kolisi, and the ball has been ripped away, but it is play on. Now Perenara again back across to Mako Vivas. But just in the last 2 minutes, this game has upped its intensity by an absolute mile. Nankervel played up against a few of these guys in the opposition throughout the URC for Munster. Loose ball. Cheslin Colby in a foot race. He's just jogging though. He's cut around. He's going for the kick downfield. And now Boshi has gone for the kick. Andre Estes and ball's loose. It's popping out all over the place at the moment, scrambling for both sides. I'm wondering why Cheslin didn't back his pace there. I know that he took the nasty knock from Miracle Faialangi. He may not still be 100%, but the Barbarians get the turnover and the breakdown with Alex Nankervel. That gives them the penalty. Colby might have to come off. He doesn't look right. I'm thinking the same thing. He normally in that scenario, he would sprint, but he was only really jogging down the field, and he's kind of hunched over at the moment. He's not feeling great, Cheslin Colby. He just kind of went like that and held his head. So I think that they may have to get that man off and check him for an HIA after that collision with Miracle Faialangi. But, yeah, if the game wasn't crazy enough throughout the first couple of moments, it certainly got crazier now. Number 2, green, Andre Hugafenta, I think, is now the guy that they're going to be taking off, maybe. As a brew, how was the Zimbabwe game? It was the outstanding performance, says Matthew. Bit one-sided, unfortunately. For South Africa, I thought that Ahmed did well up until he received his red card. We also did see overall pretty handy performance from someone like a Tachuka. Right, I think they need to still check Cheslin a little bit here. They are just having a drinks break for the two sides after the hectic pace that was played. I'm not actually sure if anyone is injured at the moment or whether they just decided they're going to have a bit of a cooling break for these two teams because of the hotness of the temperature. Hello, Hamish, you not tired? No, I'm wide awake. It's currently 1:15 a.m. here in New Zealand. You wouldn't think it, though, by the fact that I'm still... Yeah. We have you there. Why is the cameraman focused on butts? It's not the butts. It's the wording on the back of the shorts. There's a bit of a symbolism behind it. But we're going to see it here. Andre Hugo Fenta, just as he was going to ground, ended up colliding with the knee of Watacalant. So he is getting checked out and also has got a bit of a cut. So they are going to be putting the strapping on. And Colby is cheese, says Jason. But it looks like he's going to be all right to continue. Thanks for clarifying. Yeah, they weren't just doing some weird zooms on like the player shorts for no apparent reason. This is interesting. This game, we're getting purely super sport coverage here in New Zealand. They're showing the regular price for Lay's and Doritos is $51.98, but you can buy any two for $42. I wasn't actually looking close enough to know where that's from, but is that a good deal? That sounds like an all right deal to me. Now, Alex Nankerville breaks the line. He's got Barimi Fakatawa with him. Goes away to him. Colby misses the tackle, and Barimi Fakatawa scores the try for the Barbars next to the post. I forgot how to talk. I was just miming. You guys would have thought I was on mute. I think Colby's not great at the moment in terms of head knock. I think that he just seems like he's not all there currently. And it's overpriced, says Martin. And Dorito's price is ridiculous if you ask me. We're going to see the replay here, though. Colby just didn't get that close to him at all. And it's like $5.10, although 2 big bags, I think it was. Is everyone all the way? The AB's coaching team are watching this game like hawks. Says won't believe everything, but Farimi Fakatawa. The man's had an interesting few years. I believe he was the one who was told he wasn't allowed to play in France because of his health. And then from there, they chucked him into the Fijian Brewer as a bit of a player. And then now, of course, playing for the Barbars. Take Colby off, says Mohadan, cameraman on high alert after Vezel started with his ball grabbing shenanigans. And Muted H says one for you. But the kick has gone over from Thomas Albanoz, and it now makes the score 7 points each for these two sides who scored the South African try and who was kicking the goal. So Cheslin Colby is in charge of the goal kicking. So if he goes off with an HIA, you'd have to wonder who would then take the responsibilities. I'd assume Kewan Horn, to be honest, or depending on who they replace. I think they'd actually put on Vusi Moyo, to be fair, and they just have a bit of a reshuffle. That one's kicked off down towards the 22. But the try was scored by Edwil van der Merwe. The tackle this time is made by Cheslin Colby. Just got kicked in the head by Franco Mostert on the ground too. Now awkward bouncing ball. Grant Williams goes up for it. Manages to claim it. Gives it off to Jesse Creel for his first touch of the day. Grant Williams off to the right-hand side to Jasper Vesa. Tackle low by Rodder. Williams again. Firing it across. Bounce past Riley Norton. Goes now. Edward van der Merwe has Fussy. Now to Toy. Cuts back in with Duan van der Merwe. Trying to hold him up. Currently 7 metres out from the line. Currently the box. Now Williams. Oh, that looked high. That looked really high from TJ Perenata. That's probably going to be a yellow card on the collision on Riley Norton. But for now, it's going to be play on. Pick and go from Peter Steftotoy. Okay, the TMO is just checking it as well as we speak. Now Andre Hugo Fenta runs straight into the referee. He doesn't care who's in his way. He wants to go over the top of them now. Only 2 metres short of the line for the Springboks. Peter Steftotoy. Oh, tackle off the ball. And that's close to over the line. Referee blows the whistle. And I want to say that is the try. Yes, it is for Peter Steftotoy. But this one is still going to be checked for TJ Perenata, as he did end up looking like he collided a little bit too high on the tackle that he made on Riley Norton. The box by 30 says Michael, and good job, Mod, says WP. And also get up Perenata, whack him. Although he may have whacked them in an illegal way here. Might find himself going to the bin. I'll be the only team that does a warm-up before internationals. One of the few that do it. And I always say it, it's extremely smart. You know, and I don't know why more sides don't do it. I get when the competitions are finishing kind of late, but, like, yeah. I was going to say something, but I feel like it's one that could be met with a mixed reaction in terms of, like, a previous series with a warm-up game. But yeah, I think that it's very smart to have that game first. Only international country teams can affect rankings on win or loss. And also, it's easy to say when you're not paying the bills, Amish. Says Big Rig. What's that for? For the chips? Or for something else? Smile, you just won a 5,000 Rand voucher. There you go, Amazon Prime. We have got there. Are you going to pay for Wales or Fiji? Do some warm-ups? Says Big Rig. Well, I feel like you make more of broadcasting it. You know, for New Zealand, for instance. Chuck them up against, the Māori All Blacks play up against Japan XV. Chuck New Zealand up against Japan. Same location. Chuck them on the same plane. Something like that, It feels like something that could easily be organised. But they just don't seem to. That one's going to be kicked over by Cheslin Colby, making the score now 14 points to 7. And don't worry about your mixed reactions. Open your heart and tell us what you wanted to say, says Xander. No, I thought about it in my head and realised that some people might get really annoyed about it. They're just showing that replay of Perenara's collision with Riley Norton. It did look quite high. And that is why TJ has been sent to the bin for 10 minutes. It's going to be just the 14 on 15 now. This is where the Boks will look to really strike. There's nothing wrong with that tackle. Says Kiwi Rob, Argentina play their home games in England. It's just so they can afford them. Yeah, see, it depends on what your broadcast deal is, though, because, the other side of the equation is even organise just a miniature game in New Zealand. Behind closed doors, have a New Zealand or like an All Blacks versus All Blacks 15 that no one gets to see broadcast. That only the ones at the game get to see if they're that worried about people spying on them and whatnot. Oh, nice run from Sia Kolisi. He is bulldozing towards the try line, but just gets dragged down by Miracle Faialangi at the last moment. Williams does well to hold him in and win the penalty advantage as well. Kieran Horn knock on there from Vesa. They'll go back for the penalty. Oh, he's calling for the ball there. Grant Williams, he wants the quick tap. Oh, get out. Right, they've given Miracle Faialangi a yellow card here, which I don't agree with because that one was one where he's made a tackle off a line break, they've said, but the only reason he was still in there was because Grant Williams tried to mount him like he was a bull. And that's the reason that he wasn't able to get away. But it means that now it's 15 on 13. We're going to see it there. Yeah, where's he supposed to go when Grant Williams is sticking his ball bag in his face? He can't go anywhere because you don't want to put your head up or else you're in his nuts. But now 5 metres out from the line, the Boks have got another chance here. Andre Hugo Fenta going away to the left-hand side. This will be a brilliant chance for the Boks to be able to strike early. Kieran Horn, nice shuffle on the inside, 1 metre short. Turned onto his back. Now Grant Williams, massive wide cutout pass to Edward van der Merwe. He will get his double. Sticks up the shark fin as well. And the Boks are on fire early on. At the second already of the contest for Edward van der Merwe. We have got there. That's not a yellow man. This is ruining the contest. Shake my head, says LB. And also balls up, says Ruth. And we have got there H, not a ball bag. It's a tea bag, says a 1. And also, that was just a dumb yellow from the ref, spoiling the spectacle, says Roger. Yeah, see, the Perenara one, I'd say understandable, could have been lower, but yeah, it was a pretty rough yellow card, really, wasn't it? And fix the scores, South Africa 21, says Martin. Well, they haven't taken the kick yet for myself. We can't give them the points just yet. It's a poor yellow, terrible decision. Where must he go? As a Boks supporter, we would be furious about that, says Kevin. Now, Cheslin Colby does strike it and does just have the distance to make it go over. So 21-7 now, the scoreline between these two teams. That's a horrible decision, says Ruth. You see there, Cheslin Colby just having a bit of a conversation there with Edward van der Merwe. Glad to see the cameraman sitting 20 feet away. Yeah, he didn't want to get anywhere near him that time, did he? 16 minutes into what has been a fast-paced start to this game. The Boks have got a 2-man advantage. 16 minutes in. The score being 21-7. Nice kicking from the tee. Yeah, he's sitting 3 from 3 at the moment. Cheslin Colby. The fact that the South African ref explains a lot, says Ant. Oh, time is off. Right. This is going to be the decision about Perenara. Okay. The yellow card will remain a yellow card. I thought for a second it may have just been upgraded. Why don't they have a neutral referee? I don't actually know why they don't for this one, but I guess because it's a friendly, so they kind of just chuck whoever's available. Because they got, I think Marius van der Vesterhuizen is the TMO too, isn't he? I take from Andre Esterhuizen inside of the 22. We have got there, Cheslin got the dancer shoes and kicking boots on. And the fact that he could actually still have a mild concussion makes it even that much more impressive. But Cheslin Colby almost charged down kick for Grant Williams as he does kick it downfield, taken by Edwald van der Merwe again. Will we be coming to South Africa for the D series between New Zealand and South Africa? No, we'll be covering it from here though. How much are the tickets? Someone said the lowest price was R1,000 for a ticket at this ground, which I think is why there's so many empty seats. Thomas Albanos from inside of the 22. Let's kick that one into touch. The weight squad announcement is on Monday. Correct. Yep, around lunchtime here in New Zealand. We will be doing a live stream for that one. And also, Vibe is amazing at the stadium, says Kevin. TJ Perenara and Miracle Faialangi both sitting side by side in the naughty chairs, waiting to be able to make their way back out onto the field. Kobe kicked all season for a side in Japan, so it makes sense. Yeah, definitely when you've gone with a different looking 10 than you normally would in this side. And the thing is, right, and this is going to cause drama, this statement, but if you've got Colby as your kicker, can you play Mani Lebok as your 10? Because of the fact that you've got that kicking option out there on the field. That way you can look at the attack, seeing as Sasha's injured and Pollard, some people are giving him a bit of a spell. Let's take there from Duan van der Merwe. Now sitting about 18 metres out from the halfway line. Moves up to 45 out. Isaac Rodder back across again. Alex Nank. Oh, he's almost broken his own ankle there with the way that he's tried to spin out of that one, Nankervel. Now short side run again. Big collision on Elliot D. This new squad under Rennie will smoke him. As an organiser, I'll reduce the cost of ticket as play goes on. And God forbid they have a neutral ref, then South Africa won't be guaranteed to win. Oh, I think they were still going to win anyway. Oh, nice ball from Fussy, although it's loose. Now jumping on it. Oh, Wadaka Lance completely missed it. And now a grubber from Fussy that does go into touch. I don't think a South African ref would be biased towards the box against the Barbarians. In fact, I think he should be more lenient towards the Barbarians as a sympathy. See Zealand. And like Barbars versus All Blacks, ref a Kiwi. Was that the All Blacks XV one, right? From last year, I want to say it was. Yeah, because Bongi Manambi was in that Barbar side, wasn't he? And let's go to the Springboks. Says Andrea. 19 minutes into the contest, and that's overthrown. Nicely taken by Visa. Acceleration off the mark. And the Boks have another one 19 minutes in. They've got themselves 26 points now. And they just keep on flowing and finding ways to score tries. I think that Perenara won't be miles away from coming back. That would bring the Barbars back to having 14 on the field, but there were clear gaps for Jasper Visa to be able to run through here. It was Duan van der Merwe. Just didn't quite have the acceleration off the mark to be able to change direction in time. We have got there lots of minor league teams. Here eventually let you in for free late in the game. And also, who is Springbok? South Africa. But Jasper Visa, certainly a Bok name. Will be on the cards for quite some time here with the way that he has been playing. And 14 didn't realise it was 13. Yeah, they lost TJ Perenara and then they lost Miracle Faialangi about 2 minutes later. Now Colby, he has got that one over as well, making the score 28-7 in favour of South Africa. Well, Colby better kicking than Pollard. And if anyone's interested in this one-sided pointless match, put Premiership final on in 30 minutes' time. Oh, is the Premiership not actually started yet? I thought it started at the same time as this game, but no, it would be an hour later, wouldn't it? For the Saints versus the Chiefs. Pollard had jet lag, says Xander. And we are going to win, says Andrea. Currently leading nicely by the 21 points, 4 tries to 1 in favour of the South Africans. Kicked off again by Thomas Albanos. Just gets it to go the 10 metres. Bounces on the side of the Barbars. Now, Oxenshire, looking for the steal on the breakdown. There is the knock-on advantage against South Africa currently. Watercalant delays his pass, goes for a little cheeky kick in behind. He's gone straight out on the full. So I think they're going to go back for the advantage. Oh, no, never mind. They've called that advantage over for the Barbarians. So it does mean that they will now go back for a Springbok scrum. Or sorry, Springbok line-out, I should say. I fly to the UK 5 times, play rugby is insane, says Sven. And Cheslin winger, line-out, and now fly half also, says Eugene. And Colby's kicking his great damn, making our hybrid system more dangerous. Line-out throws, scrum half, etc. Yeah, he can go anywhere on the field at the moment, Cheslin Colby. Why is he kicking? Because Kewan Horn's at 10. And he's not really known for his goal-kicking option. So they're kicking with Colby, who has been doing well throughout the Premiership. And I didn't know the Barbarians are pointless. What a stupid comment says WLK. Didn't know the Barbarians. Who said the Barbarians were pointless? I'm looking through. I don't see it. Who said it? We have got anyone know how much players get paid when they represent the Barbars? In the old school day, you used to probably just get free drinks. And players would go, yep, that'll do. But nowadays, you'd assume they get some sort of money because some of them have flown over from all sorts of locations around the world. Your opinion on the new rugby rule changes? Which ones are we talking? Because we saw the rule changes here in New Zealand for Super Rugby. Right, Perenara is now back on the field. The Barbarians now have 14 on. When it's New Zealand's next game, New Zealand will be playing up against France on about the 6th of July. How's Horn doing so far? I haven't even really seen him, to be honest. I've seen a lot of Esterhazen. But I think that's because Williams is going with the skip passes, and also Kewan Horn's still playing a little bit of a half 10, half 15 role. He's quite deep in the back line a majority of the time, it seems. But by 35 says, won't believe everything. The Box look like we're running away with this one, says Heaney. Currently the 3-try lead after the 23 minutes. How's Riley Norton doing, H? He's won his lineouts. He took a high shot before. But outside of that, he's been relatively strong. I haven't seen more than 1 or 2 carries, I don't think. Big scrum from the South Africans. They will look to get this penalty advantage. And now the referee does award it. Grant Williams going away to the left-hand side. Kewan Horn moves it on to Andre Esterhazen. Out to Fussy. Now tries to back himself to go on the inside of Callaway. Williams showing pace here, trying to snipe through. Nankerville hanging on to the jersey, trying to rip it off his back. Esterhazen cross to Andre Hugo Fenta. And the Barbars getting destroyed in the scrum, says Eugene, which, a big shot coming in on Kewan Horn, but he shuffles around 3 defenders, still going Kewan Horn, showing off some fancy footwork. Now Williams, way to the right-hand side again. Oh, number 10 offside, so that is going against Albanos. Now short ball, Riley Norton runs in and scores the try, the youngster. That is now 5 tries in this contest here. How do you play fly half and be crab kicking? Cannot be this level surely. Well, he's normally a 15. But because they've got no Sasha, no Pollard, no Lebok, it meant that they needed someone to play 10. And they didn't want to go with Ahmed because he was playing in the South African under-20s. Or sorry, the South Africa A game up against the Zimbabweans. But some brilliant stepping from Kewan Horn. And then Riley Norton running it in and scoring the try. They should add some Bulls players to this Bok team so Barbarians have a chance to win. That's harsh on the Bulls. They had a rough game, didn't they? It's still harsh. Riley Norton, whoop, says Craig. You switch to the Prem game, it's going to be more competitive than this, says Fleshin. Cheslin Colby, he's sitting 4 from 4 today. Some deep breaths as he lines up the posts. Does slot that one over, making the score now 25 minutes into this game. 35-7. Riley Norton. Man is going to be more than likely captaining the under-20 side in the upcoming junior championships. That is taking place next week. The crazy thing is, though, if he plays like this, maybe Rassi will put him in the main squad for July. Okay. I've just heard there, TJ Perenara, it said there was some sentence and then that was BS. Literally saying it not as BS. He said the words. So Perenara not happy at the moment with a few of the decisions being made. I'm trying to hear what they're saying. Okay, now they've stopped talking. I think they might have actually muted it, actually, to be fair. Who scored the South African tries besides the one of Edwell van der Merwe. So we're seeing Edwell van der Merwe get 2. We've also seen the try for Peter Steph Toy, and then another try for Riley Norton. And then was also, I think, Jasper Visa was the other one. It's been quite a few. It's hard to remember them all. 26 minutes in. You know, Williams goes back into the pocket to Kieran Horn. He's not wrong, TJ, says Albert. Nice take from Edward van der Merwe. This time Duhan van der Merwe with the offload to Alex Nankervel. Passes across to Miracle Failangi. He's back out there on the field. So now they do have 15, the Barbarians. Albanoz is nailed in the shot from Oxnashare, and he is not happy about it either. Albanoz feels like he was hit late. Out ripping the ball away. Oxnashare gives away the penalty for the grounded opposition. That's a South African ref. Says Claus, who scored the Barbars try. Barbarians try was scored. Advancing 10 metres for the Barbarians due to South Africa kicking the ball away. But the try for Virimi Fakatawa. Almost Albanoz now decision to be made, but I don't think they'll think too long about this one. They will be looking to put this one into touch. Albanoz just that around the 22-metre line. Who do you support? As in, like, in this game or just in general? Yeah, so Oxnashare, he did try and get that ball off the opposition while he was down on the ground. And also, whoops, South Africa, says Mel. 27 minutes in, though. Line out here for Elliot D. Is that their second line out of the game, the Barbars? I feel like we haven't seen them have a lot of the line outs at all in this one. But this one's going to be thrown in. Miracle Failangi is the man who claims it, but it was ruled as not straight. Let's give the ball straight back to South Africa. Second half may be different, but I watch our box in the last 20 minutes. Well, the thing is, they've got some really handy players off of the bench here. Evan Roos, Paul de Villiers, Ben Jason Dixon all will be wanting to really make their mark in terms of making their way off the bench and bringing the impact, because the thing is, this is, in a way, a Springbok trial. This is not the confirmed July international squad. The guys who play well here, as well as the guys who have played well throughout the rest of the season, they will be the ones who get to take on England in July, Scotland, as well as Wales. The referee gave them that second yellow card to give them momentum, biggest assist of the game, says Bailey. Now scrum feed here for the box. They are sitting about 23 metres out from their own try line, so just out from being able to kick this one out on the full. And not much in the way of rust for the box so far. Yeah, they've looked extremely dangerous. We have got their good warm-up for the team. I can read nothing into it, says Ben. And are you seriously saying that no Australia referees that could have made the trip to South Africa for the game? Says Kiwi Rob. I think that, like, I'm not the one who gets to organise the referees. So someone obviously decided that these were the guys to get the job done. It was quite interesting, though, before the match, because they did, like, a big highlights package for the referee and kind of, like, did a bit of a documentary about him as well. Like, it was the most, I guess, information about a ref that we've actually seen, which is quite interesting. We have got them funny people say South Africa cry ref. Airs are not international, are not even international really, and people crying over the ref. Leave ref out of the game, mistakes happen as part of the sport, says Brett. Do you like me? Says Petro. I didn't scream for you earlier on, which is a weird sentence to say out of context. But you seem all right, I guess. But now, 29 minutes into this game, and South Africa will have the opportunity to kick this ball towards the sideline. You like me? We're not all asking if I like you, because there's 1,600 people here, and then that would be quite a mission. Doesn't World Rugby set up where he refs, or where the refs are in charge? Yeah, I think that World Rugby do it. I don't think like any of these sides would have had a say in it. Now going away to the left-hand side, kick downfield from Kieran Horn. Now the Barbars looking to kick it back. A real challenge, but well taken by Grant Williams again. Almost on that halfway. Oh, a little bit of a back issue there. I think that was for Jasper Visa. Seemed like he was a little bit ginger after throwing that pass. Away to the right, Jasper Visa again. Get him back into the breakdown, although brilliant work there for a second from Lachlan Boshier. Seems like Williams is now opting for the box kick. He does go high down towards the Barbarians 22. Looking to go up, thought it was Edward van der Merwe, but it is won by Thomas Albanoz. Perenara cross to the left-hand side to Wadakalampic. Salah the dummy. He runs into a lot of forwards. Perenara again. Back across Nankerville. Good hands from Faialangi, the big man from Moana Pacifica, who's looking for a team. So if anyone knows one, do of course let him know. As Moana seem like they're going to be disbanding at the end of the Super Rugby season. Callaway breaks the line, gets through Kolisi. Loose ball, knocked on by the box. Albanoz now. It's like he's just trying to find a gap and manages to get through there. Williams with a brilliant tackle around the chest to stop the offloading option. Perenara receives the ball. Now throws it up from his back. That's kind of that classic Barbar style and an offload to Duan van der Merwe. Brilliant tackle. Offloaded up and just gets knocked out of the hands from Perenara. The penalty awarded to the Barbarians. And this might be a yellow card for South Africa. I think Perenara is saying, well, it was exactly what happened to Miracle Faialangi, if not worse. And Grant Williams will now be going to the bin for 10 minutes for cynical play. We have there the tie and shirt for the box. Rugby Royalty, says Elijah. And also, hey guys or ladies, don't make Hamish blush, says Heaney. I think I missed like 100 messages there as well. And like the middle batch, there were not many stoppages that was taking place. 1 second, we'll go like this. And we'll go like that as well. Are you good at rugby? Nah. Terrible at it. I used to be alright, but then now I'm unfit, so I'd suck. Hamish, you good lad, says Elijah. I think so. I'm breathing now, so that's good. We have the How's a Hammy. I wasn't aware that we were playing today. I picked up a couple of beers and the score was 20-something-ish. Don't crucify me, says Stan. Oh, last time I was sick. Yeah, no, I've recovered from that. I'm all good now. So hopefully I can avoid getting sick throughout July, because that would be brutal if I did. But we are still going to be here every weekend anyway. Now rolling more here for the Barbarians, trying to get this one going in a forward direction. So working hard, and it's kind of broken off the side a little bit with a penalty advantage in their favour and falling almost over the try line. It looks like it's short. Referee just looking for the grounding currently. And they get the try. Going over it was the Argentine international, Franco Molina. I can't even remember who that man plays for in terms of like club rugby. Can't remember. Love the smile. Says netted to the beer. I think it's just because international rugby's like almost back. And this is pretty much international rugby anyway. But yeah, it's currently almost 2 a.m. And I feel like I'm too wide awake for this. You know? I feel like after the stream, I'm supposed to be sleeping because we're going golfing early in the morning. I feel like going for like a jog. And I don't like jogging. I think it's just the being fired up from this rugby, but nice finish from Franco Molina. Just got it on the try line. I'm proud that you'll be Alfie, says Heaney. How many times has he done that for the Force? Oh, yeah, no, he's at the Force, isn't he? No wonder I was thinking he's, like, familiar. 6 a.m. golfing, you're insane. No, not 6 a.m. That would be a bit early. Bit of an early tea time, that one. But, it's going to be, like, maybe 9? You do sound very awake at 2 a.m. Yeah. I don't know why. But Grant Williams getting that yellow card. This is a high-scoring game as well, by the way. 14 points to 39. We've had 49 points already. We're only 33 minutes through. We have you there, Hamish is the best. Promise us you will give us a shout-out in about 3 years when you are in the booth with Grant Nisbet, says Justin. That'd be hard work. Not the shout-out part, but the actual commentary. I feel like I get distracted far too easily. That's the euphoria of the first test of the year, says Albert. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to sleep. But the ball now on the side of the Barbarians. Sitting about 12 metres out from their line. This one's kicked high by TJ Perenara. Knocked on again there. Oh no, they've rolled it as backwards off the Barbars. So Piranata going back across to Alex Nankervel, gets the bounce pass. Looks like they're going to try and use this in their backline. Barimi Bakatawa lined up by Alex Nankervel. Beautiful flick pass on the outside. Now Warwick land. Here's Callaway with him. Went on the inside to TJ Piranata. He's got one more. Why did he kick that? That was the worst choice that he could have made there. It was about a 3-on-1. Upper Fasi though gets the ball. Callaway all over him. And now getting in the breakdown for the Barbarians. They should have just kept passing that, rather than going for the fancy chip in behind. Better Steph Tatoya's going to kick this one downfield and chase after it. Now ball avoiding. That man didn't quite get the ankle tap. Kicking it again. This time Albinoz though. He's found a bit of open space. Upper Fussy gets across. Manages to claim that ball 1 meter out from his line. Duan Fundermerva trying to drag him down onto the ball for the Barbarians. And the penalty now for the Barbars side. This one is speeding up big time. I better Steph Tatoya, big grubber, says Albert. Yeah, well, he was the only man who chased the kick, though. No one else decided that they wanted it. He was pretty much doing all the work himself. But now, Barbarians, what do you do here? Go for the cross kick? No, probably not. It looks like the plan seems like maybe just a tap and go. Yep, Elliot D. Going to be the man in charge of tapping this one. We've got to remember they also do still have that man advantage, I believe. And tap and go. Elliot Mee pops it up the middle. Faialangi just short of the line. He's fallen down about half an inch from it. Getting very close there for the Barbarians yet again. Ball's still there. Elliot D leaves it alone. DJ Piranata fires it out to Alex Nankervel. Now wide. Cut out pass. Warwick Land. Draw and pass. Gets it out wide, and Andrew Callaway runs in the try for the Barbarians as they get their third of the match. Whatever you're watching on, it's on Sky Sport here in New Zealand. But Andrew Callaway, we had over 50 points this half. We have 54. Sounds like a contest now. Not the score, though. Says any, or they're working on it. They're slowly trying to bounce back a little bit. And also, Springboks defense has been poor. Says one Pierre Bosch. At 26, shouldn't you be on your second marriage? Have 3 kids to 3 women? Probably, but I do live streaming instead. So, keeps me busy. How many South Africans in the Barbarians team? 2, I think. Watercalamp being one of them. He's had a good game so far. So it's going to be a tough kick here for Thomas Albanoz. Although he is left-footed, so he can potentially bring this one around left to right. Glide it over the posts. The defense coaches of both teams must have their heads in their hands right now. Oh, no, he started it just a little bit too far to the right, and it continued moving right. The new laws have all led to more running and more tries. So here's LB. Yeah, the nice pass out wide, but 35 points to 19. Old School Radio in London. Says Dave McDonald. Scott Robertson happy with that one. The clapping from the coach, Scott Robinson smiling. That's something that he never got to do while with the All Blacks. Even when he was winning, he knew that he was going to get criticised no matter what. Almost looked like he's found a new enjoyment for coaching with the smile there. Like this, the thing is, his team's still down by 16. So if you're smiling like that, you know you're having fun. I like any Barbars team when they click. It's dangerous. All looking for the offload here again. Picked up nicely. Now Boshier passes it on, and again the open space here. Watercaland has the man with him. It becomes a 3-on-1 on the outside. Barimi Bakatawa offload to Piranata. The Barbars are on fire. We're not in Johannesburg. We're in Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. But it's another try. And there you what. Now the scoreline's looking a little bit more intriguing. This is a full-time score. We haven't even had half time. Another try, amazing game. Says cited for South African players in the Barbars. Says Albert. The new laws have led to more cards, which leads to more tries, says Justin. Bang Bang Shish says the AI underdog, but the nice run from Barimi Bakatawa. This Barbarian side is starting to work as a team here. And that is really frightening because they're just finding gaps all over the place in the Bok defense. And Barbar Black Sheep says Jason and High Team says Tracy, welcome in. Hope you are doing very well. TJ Piranata, after getting a yellow card earlier on, has now got himself try number 1 for him. The craziest thing is my prediction of the box by 40 could still happen. It could. It 100% could. We could have another 60 points in the second half. We have got the donation. We are getting exposed. Hope we lose. That's a bit negative, isn't it? Like, still early days. But yeah, they're definitely leaving gaps for the Barbars to be able to run through. And it's the draw and pass timing that's been so precise from the Barbarians throughout the last while. What a Calant is having a great game. Like a really good game. And to be honest, coaching the AB seems like a dreadful, thankless job. It is. I wouldn't want it. I'm also not a good coach, though. So, but yeah. It's one of those ones, you could do everything right, people would still hate you. Same with being a player. Being a player nowadays actually is really difficult, too. And our box just stopped Brian. Says Henny. A nice take for a miracle fire Langa. We're into the final minute of this first half. Do they try and run it out here, the Barbarians? Or do they just look to use up the clock? Uh-oh, loose ball. Picked up by Seo Corlisi. Now, in fact, it's Andre yesterday. And right, the mistake was made by the Barbarians. And now the Springboks may be able to counter with a try of their own here. Oxenshare plays half. Gives it up to Carlos Sadie. Oh, straight on the ball. Nankerville rips it away. And the penalty is going to be awarded. That is for offside. And it's 12 offside. So that is against Nankerville. And who has scored for the Barbarians? Wait, the BBs? Is that that would be the Barbars, right? So far, we've seen Tite Piranata, we've seen Thoremi Fakatawa, Andrew Callaway, and Franco Molina. I was just doing the maths in my head at how many tries they had scored, but that is the halftime siren now signing. Are we going to see a high-scoring game? Yeah, I would say so. Throughout this first half, we have seen 61 points. So even if we had no points scored in the second half, this is still regarded as a high-scoring game. Oh, smile, you just won a $5,000 Amazon shopping voucher. It must be nice, isn't it? They seem to, yeah, I don't think we normally get these advertisements on like the Sky broadcast, but I think they've like gone straight into like a Supersport one because we got a couple of Supersport like supermarket ads as well. Not their supermarket, but like South African supermarkets. Now, Chislin Colby, he is feeding the ball into the scrum because Grant Williams is still off the field. What hasn't Colby done in this game? He's been kicking at the post. He's been running down the wing. He's been feeding the scrum now. He hasn't scored a try yet. And we have got there clicking Fakatawa. And also, well, geez, Louise, Hamish the Barbars, and did follow any of the drama about the ads and the hydration breaks at the FIFA World Cup. I didn't know there was any drama. And I think TVNZ here in New Zealand aren't too bad with the ads, although actually, no, there are a few. $500 is a decent price for just showing up to a game. So here's LB, and what is your name? My name is Hamish. It's about, yeah, just Hamish. Colby hasn't ref yet. That's true. Still time, though. That'd mean the Barbarians, yeah. Interesting none for Duan Whanamurva. He got close. He was like a metre short, and then they ended up going out the other wing. But Chislin Colby about to put this ball in. And why is Williams off? Yellow card, correct, yes. But he will be back not too far in the future. Now, another advantage. Chislin Colby plays it from the back. He's going to score the try, surely. He can get it down. No, he's been held up. Or has he? No, they think he's got it down. And Chislin Colby brings up the 40 points for the Springboks. I see why hasn't he done? He hadn't scored a try, and now he's got one. You can call him H or King H. Don't know about the King part. And score is 35-26. Now it is 40-26 in favour of the Boks. 66 points. And still a kick to come. And W. Colby. And whoop whoop. And you said it, says Carmelot. And there as well. Yeah, just breaking off the back. And it was always going to be hard to defend. It seemed like Albanos just got outpaced a little bit against all odd. 2 hard hits and still scores. So yeah, WPP. Yeah, now he's got this kick. The crazy thing is this, like, this is still a very crucial kick, isn't it? Because the way that this game has been going, every point from here could change the result. Well spoken, Hamish Bot got this. And can we maybe see the game? Don't really want to see your face for 80 minutes. Yeah, Sean, well, sadly, you're going to have to put up with my face because if I showed any match footage, I'll get taken off YouTube. And then you probably have to look at someone else's face instead. Colby heard you, Hamish. Says Heaney. Yeah, he has missed that kick, but the score's still pretty handy. 40 points to 26 for the first half. Hazy has got there with the Colby. Now, what can't Colby do? The only thing that they haven't done yet is lift him in a line out. I think they should do it. Chuck him up. That gets some height too. Imagine having Franco Mostert and Peter Steph Toy launching Chislin Colby into the air. The lads are just showing off now, says Boy. Sorry, I was just listening to the interview. I forgot I was supposed to be talking. No, TJ Perenara just saying there about the pretty much the flow of the game in a way, and just saying about how it was disappointing to concede right before the second half or the first half was over. But the way he's talking about it sounds like he's not actually a guy playing. He sounds like he's a guy analysing the game. That's kind of the experience of a veteran. And go the box says, Morning and Jesse Krill, I must try the next conversion or the penalty. And we have got there, they could throw him in the air like a baby, catching the throw at 30 feet in the air. He'll fly like a bird. H Frozen, no, I was just listening. I forgot that I was supposed to be talking. And the Bok will kick off with plenty of tries, second half watch. So, question, ladies and gentlemen, we've had 66 points, which means we've only got 34 points remaining till we get to the 100. Yes or no, is this game going to have 100 points? I think the chances are pretty high, to be honest. England need 445 runs. And also, we have there go the Bok go. Says Loretta there too. But yeah, it's certainly been an eventful first half. Started off with a fast pace. GG's for the Barbarians and the South African soccer team in the World Cup. Yeah, they got a draw, didn't they? In their most recent game, Bafana. Who'd they play? They didn't play Mexico. That was their first game. Who was their second game that they drew up against? Because then they've still got a game up against, I almost said North, but South Korea, don't they? TJ talks way too much on the field. Says MTG. And I was wherever their Barbars can do it. Says Ruth. Yeah, eventful. 3 yellow cards in the first half of this game as well. One for Grant Williams right near the end. Chiknia says it was there from Chef. And also Cheslin playing 3 positions in one game is crazy. He is the most underrated player in the world. See, I think he's regarded as one of the best players in the world. So underrated in that level. Like, his versatility is probably underrated, I would say. But a lot of people, of course, do stick him right up the top of the list when it comes to players in general. I'll go one further on the 100 points. This might hit 120 points total, but I'm expecting both sides to tie them up for the second half. At least this isn't one-sided affair like the last Barbarians box game. This has been very entertaining so far. Yeah, I'll be honest, this game, in the early stages, right, we saw Miracle Failangi and TJ Perenara both get yellow cards. We saw the box leading, was it 14-0? Almost, or did they get to 21-0? Something like that. And I thought, oh no, this is going to be a pretty one-sided affair. But to their credit, they've at least fought back. And even if they were to lose this game from here and not score throughout the second half, 26 points still has made this a bit of a contest, and it's been a spectacle. That first half went very quickly. How many wickets would you want it to be down at stumps, Hamish? Oh, a few. 5, 6. I don't know how much time left they've got in the day. They've probably still got one more session, right? The chances are very high that we might hit 100 points, especially, expecting another try from Cheslin. And Flying Green and Gold has come in second half. Says Fong, I'm not sure Cheslin is underrated. He's widely regarded as the best in his role. And also, particularly if Colby is thrown high in the air, the other team can't play him till his feet hit the floor. And being so short, though, we'll set up an organised formation of the drive legally. And the subs are growing. Says Petro Demai. Anyone who hasn't already, I realised we're currently about 2 hours into the stream, and I haven't once said, hit subscribe if you're new. I'm terrible at promoting the channel. But yeah, hit the old subscribe button. Also, Kiwi Lads Instagram. Haven't posted on there yet. One day I will, once I decide what I'm actually going to post on it. But if you want to follow us on there, please do. We reply to all the messages, even though we get a few weird ones too. But yeah, be sure to check out the channel. 1 second. I'll go like this. And like that. There we go. That is the link. But it's also in the pinned comment. There you go. That's the link to the Kiwi Lads Instagram. Go give us a follow. Flick us a message. Let us know what you think of this first half. We have got there who scored the last one. Last try was scored by Cheslin Colby. And South Africa playing like I play basketball. The quicker they score, the sooner I get the ball back. And also 49 overs. Oh, yeah, so that's a few. If they've already got them 2 down, they'll probably be aiming for 5 or 6. Maybe even more if they can get lucky to Zimbabwe win against South Africa. No. They did end up losing that game 42-0? 40-0. One of those two. In the end. And great seeing you like the beard. Every time you commentate South Africa Bok win, keep it going. Well, I will say not every time. We have been involved in a couple matches that they have lost. But I also ended up with a buzz cut last year because of them winning up against New Zealand. So, yeah, I think it's just down to the fact that at the moment they're very good, aren't they? South Africa is better, says Candace. And we have there, morning, Hamish brother. How you doing, mate? Hey, you're all cool trying to get over the Bulls' bad loss last night. Yeah, that was disappointing. I think that we've had very disappointing finals so far. There is another final just kicking off now, by the way. That is the Premiership final taking place between Northampton and Exeter. And welcome to the box, says Genovin. And also go South Africa, says Candace. And there as well, would love to see Portugal versus Argentina World Cup final. Messi versus Ronaldo. Our last World Cup for both. And also Bafana, there we go. Draw against Chechnya. Czechia. I can't say Czechia, isn't it? I always mispronounce that one. I still think of them as the Czech Republic, but I know that's wrong now, isn't it? Currently at halftime, we've got darts being shown in New Zealand. It's New Zealand versus the Philippines. I didn't realize they did like country versus country in darts. Can you please update the Premiership final? Let's get going and starts at 2 a.m. I can do just that. I'll keep you informed about what is happening and that one. And well, a one-sided game by the Canes earlier. They outplayed the Chiefs, did not expect that. You see, I wanted that game to be close. I wanted the Bulls Leinster to be close. I would have loved to see South Africa Zimbabwe be a bit closer. This game is still considered as the closest game of the weekend. So, like, that's quite, well, I guess that's quite telling, isn't it? With the fact that it's still 14 points separating them. This is the best interaction channel ever. And now I understand why we're the best rugby or best rivalry, good fellowship. Our two teams. I've forgotten how to speak now. And rugby New Zealand versus South Africa. And holds the ball to himself. And also we've got their top players, Colby Bott for life. And went into watching last night's match hoping the Bulls would win. But had to be honest in the end. Leinster were flawless. Bulls were half asleep. Yeah, see, I don't want to write the Bulls off till later on in that game because they did that up against Glasgow. They struggled first half and then all of a sudden they found their momentum and started turning it around. But yeah, they never found that next gear, unfortunately. Same with the Chiefs. You know, they were down by miles. It's like 60-0 at one point. We're in a therapy session and it's working. We talk about some random stuff on these streams. We've talked about food a lot in the past. There was one time where we were looking up facts about hippos. That kind of sometimes tells you how quick the game's going. We didn't get much of a distraction period throughout that one. Oh. It was almost bad, ladies and gents. What happened is my PC is down here next to me. And I dropped my arm. And my thumb landed right next to the power button. So had I gone half an inch to the side, the screen would have gone black and you guys would have wondered what happened. And I would have had to try and load it back up. Thank you very much, One Pierre Bosch. Greatly appreciate it again. Visa is not letting anyone close to that number 8 jersey. And also we have got there, yes, a Zimbabwe game. Didn't give Zimbabwe any confidence at all for the World Cup, says Heaney. And also Hamish is New Zealand coming to South Africa. Yeah. It's going to be the 4-match series as well as those guys taking part in the provincial matches too, or like the URC side matches. Over 500 people killed a year by hippos. Yeah, hippos are aggressive. You know, they go for people big time. Average that you're hydrating from the hydration police service. Northampton winning. I hate that team so much, says Kahu. And I cover my button with an internal drive because my cat keeps hopping on. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Do your game on a PC and stream about it. We used to do a bit of Rugby 25 till we realised that game was still pretty rough. But I'd like to play more. Like, we used to do career modes and all sorts. I'd love to do, like, a squad builder for the box. Like, in a career mode setting, heading into that, like, World Cup. But we'll see. The damn Barbarians are kicking themselves in the foot with these cards and bad decisions making. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, getting too early yellows is always going to hurt you no matter what. But I also do think that later in the game, you know, almost that second 20 minutes, or even you could argue that last 10, 15, Barbarians started almost jowling, didn't they? They started finding the passes. And that first kind of 20, when they looked for an offload, the box would jump on it. But then now, it just seems like they've flipped the switch. And South Africa have to be a little bit careful defensively. I have to say, them scoring right at the end of the first half was brilliant for the South African just because of that confidence factor. going into the second half knowing that you've just struck. Much better than just conceding 2 or 3 tries in quick succession. And the thing is, the Barbarians, there was only about 20 seconds left on the clock. All they had to do was just go a phase or two and then just go into the sheds, down by, would have been 7 at the time. And the Bok don't close down the gaps, stop leaking tries. They are close in losing this. I like the Barbarian centre pairing. Yeah, it's actually working really well. Alex Nankervis and Wharumi Whakatawa. I guess the only way that we get to see that is if either Nankervis goes to the Fijian draw or Whakatawa goes to Munster. We have you there. Start 1, sell 1. Start 1, bench 1, sell 1. How much am I selling them for? It's probably not the relevant question for it, is it? Are you employed? I am employed, yes. I work like a normal job alongside doing this as well. Nice to see TJ Perenara playing. Says Birdie V. Yeah, he's been influential throughout the first half. Very talkative to referee and to anyone who would listen. But he did also get himself the try for the Barbars side. I expect a bit more experimentation from the box until about 60 minutes where they have to tighten up. And the thing is, they do still have many options off their bench. You know, you got Paul de Villiers, you got Evan Roos, Faf de Klerk, Vusi Moyo. It's just to name a few. Like, there's still guys that can make their way off of the bench and change this game. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know why I slouched down on my chair. But Faf de Klerk, I'm confused by here. Not for the selection type, but remember, I think it was last year or the year before, that man played a game and was extremely aggressive and attacking minded in the way that he played. It was the most attacking we had seen Faf de Klerk do in years. But he then got injured. So you wonder, will he come into this game with that old school mindset of box kick, slow it down, strategic little play? Or is he going to go the other side and just go all-out attack, kind of play into the Barbarians' hands a little bit? Things to remember, it's friendly. So it was experimental. Yet we lead, says Stan. We have there Northampton Saints leading by 7, try by Freeman. Can you shout out to Pedro de Maia? Shout out to you. You actually have the same last name as one of my friends. We have there, what's your cat's name? My cat's name, wait, my cat or someone else in the chat's cat? I'm trying to look. Oh, for the cat who was doing the button pressing on the PC from someone, right? How long have you been doing this commentary channel, Hamish? I think we started about 6 years ago, which is actually a really long time. It's been like a commitment. Yeah. But yeah, since about mid-2020. And was that before the pandemic? It would have been, wouldn't it? Or was it during it? I don't even remember what year that was, but yeah, we've been around for a while. And I have too many cats. Alfie is a culprit, though. And Oz Albanoz has a good left foot, releases the pressure nicely for the Barbarians. Are you married? I am not, no. I'm a single man who spends his weekends talking to strangers online. But some of you guys are less strangers now because you've been here for a while. Last time a Bafana player scored was with a drunk chicken. Did they not draw with Czechia 1-1? Or was it 0-0 in that game? I thought they were 1-1 in that one. I could be wrong. I often am. I'm going to be looking at it now. Where is it? Yeah, they were 1-1 with Czechia. So they scored like 2 days ago. Or like half a day. 1.5 days. Somewhere around there. And Dan Razor could have picked Lukan Sadakai Lotto since he was left out of the Wallaby squad. Would have been a beast off the bench. And also, come on, Hamish, do a DM. She is really trying here. Do a DM, she is trying. Have I been oblivious to something that's been going on? I'll be honest, I'm terrible at picking up like hints and whatnot. And the Bok brand has become so powerful, it's now affecting ticket price. It's unaffordable if a family of 4. Over 4K rand just for tickets. And the prices of the All Blacks games are farcical. Yeah, it's got pretty pricey to go to games. It's a shame that we see so many empty seats. By the way, second half just now is kicking off. It's going to be in the hands of the Barbarians who are looking to continue that momentum that they were finding near the end of the half. TJ Perenara away to the left-hand side. I will also mention that they are back to the 15 now on the field for both of these sides. Perenara, across to the right. Franco Molina offloads to Albanoz. The Argentines linking up. This one's going to be a boot in behind by Guido Petty. Sitting at the back, Upper Fasi, awkward bouncing ball. He almost gets driven into touch, but he somehow kept that one alive. Now bouncing. Going away to the left-hand side. Watercalant again looking to carve through a gap. Gives it to Callaway. Couldn't get the offload away. Now TJ Perenara. Back across there. Rush defense from better Steph Toy, but the offload coming there too. Boshier moves it on to Albanoz. Delays the pass. Goes for the kick in behind. Again, I just don't like that from them. They were on the front foot and then just giving away all of the pressure that they had created. And it's a huge kick from Kewan Horn as well. The Barbarians. Looks like they've got about 4 men on this near side of the field. Watercalant goes across to Duan Fundermerva. He was going to be lined up early by Oxenshare. Now a 2-man tackle. Offload to Callaway, who breaks the line. Jesse Creel is there. It's Franco Molina with him, but he couldn't quite get that next flick pass away. Perenara looking both ways. He's just been squashed by Apalele Fasi, who wins the penalty. Brilliant work. Oh, no, never mind. Didn't get the penalty. They're just going to say play on. Now going away to the left-hand side. Cheslin Colby. It's going to be a foot race. Lachlan Boshier isn't going to win it. Watercalant isn't going to win it. In fact, it's Edward Fundermerva down the wing. And he scores another full-field try. The hat-trick for that man. And just like that, one big moment from Apalele Fasi turned defense into attack at an instant. And well, advantage. And we have got there, Eben Bannett's finished. Says Henny. But the hat trick there. However, there seriously, I would spell it out, but I'm sure she'll be in the comments again soon. Says Marius. Can you stream about GTA, please? We used to, we did the occasional gaming stream, and then my Xbox blew up while I was streaming. It literally, and that kind of was the end of the gaming streams, because I didn't want it to happen again. What a try, though. But I'm here to have fun of Merva. Now we go there, both 15s having a cracker. Says Daryl. 42 minutes, 30 through. Cheslin Colby now with a chance to line up another one, yet the Barbarians are constantly kicking themselves in the foot, making silly mistakes. Yeah, and it seems like Albanoz is the one. He's just really struggling. It's 62 off for Hamish, even if she's a 9 out of 10. 62 off. Probably, I'd say. They're in trouble against ABs. Are you being chatted up, H? Oh, they're TMO in it. Oh, okay. They want to check a tackle from Apalele Fasi here that created the first initial break, by the looks of it. We got 6767 from Petro. And we got the hat trick, says Ruth. Almost Edward Fundermerva, but it may have been taken away. And the Fundermerva try reminds me of a Habana try against Australia ages ago. Says Arno. Right, they're just loading it up on the big screen. That's a high tackle, says Sighted. Yeah, it is very high from Apalele Fasi. So this one will be ruled out for the Barbarians. Yeah, just jumps over the middle of the breakdown and hits Perenara right on the forehead. There you go, Perenara hat-trick second half. Saying he can be low. He almost left his feet there, Fasi too. Oh, they've said it meets the yellow card threshold. Just showing another angle here. I think that Fasi's going off. We're going to have the 4th yellow card in this contest now, ladies and gentlemen. It seems like everyone's just getting sent from the field. Off-field review. Now it's just that question of whether or not Apalele Fasi does return. I think he will. I don't think they'll give him a red for that one. There was a bit of contact, though. And the B same came with the yellow. And head on head says Sighted. Yeah, went from Fasi doing really well and then just turning it completely around. Poor tackle, that can cause serious damage. Says Kevin. And I reckon they could move Siyaya into the main senior team. Overall tries at the least as good as Fundermerva's. Yeah, see, he was close to scoring multiple times, wasn't he? And then he got kicked in his face by his teammate, unfortunately. Okay, referee just talking to TJ Perenara, saying that the way that they speak to each other on the pitch has to be better. So there's going to be the yellow card up at Lelefasi now. 15 on 14 here. In your opinion, what is the strongest lock pairing you've seen over the last 6 years? Oh. I'll come back to you. Because TJ Perenara has gone for a weird up and under here inside of the in-goal area. Kieran Horn puts the ball down and will now be the goal line dropout. Six years, that's... See, if you had said like last year, that would have been easier. The last 6 is like before 2023 World Cup too, isn't it? One's going to be put up high. Now Virimi Bakatawa. Across Perenara to Franco Molina. You can tell him from a mile away because he's got bright red socks on. Now short ball on the inside. Virimi Bakatawa linking up with Duan Funamurva. Now Perenara moves it on again. Albanos trying to find a way through. Oxnashare just tries to break him in half and a little knock on there. Does now mean it's a scrum feed. Not too late to be a good morning. You have to be there to stop streaming. See, here's Petro. And also same yellow card best player. See, here's Heaney. And it looks like maybe Zachary Portham won't be a mile away from making his way onto the field here. Faf de Klerk still got the bib on. He doesn't look in any hurry to make his way on. Still active. Beer Luden Eben was really good for a few years. See, here's Marius. Yeah, see, I think there's some people, because of Eben's recent times, would like rule him out. But there was actually a time where, like, Eben and Ruanoki at one point was pretty dangerous. But then 6 years, you can even look back at Retallick, can't you? I think he was still in the equation less than 6 years ago, right? Andre Hugo Fenta, bit of an injury here. I think it's actually another HIA. And it's going to bring JJ Kutsia out onto the field. There might even be some smaller front rowers in the squad. Inoki is an animal. He is definitely at international level. He just goes for it. I'm excited for the Bok bench. Very excited. And explosive prospects. Well, that's the thing. Ben Jason Dixon, Evan Russ, and Paul de Villiers have all shown what they can do throughout the regular Stormers season. And de Villiers is going to be in everything. I can tell you that right now. He's going to find a way. The yellow card will remain a yellow card, and referee informs TJ Perenara of it. TJ's comment was sweet, bro. I think he was just happy that it was the try ruled out. A yellow remains a yellow. So he's sighted there too, but the scrum feed here for the South Africans just outside of their own 22-metre line. And it is a big push there, advantage in favour of the Springboks. Grant Williams looking off to the right, but decides to run it himself. Puts the ball on the inside to Jasper Visser. Now Williams again back across. Kieran Horn onto Jesse Krell. Pops it on the inside to Cheslin Colby, who has to run backwards for a bit before he's lined up by Boshier. And now looking for the steal and the breakdown. The Barbarians unable to get it. Oh, Colby getting kicked in the head by his teammate again. And also your opinion on Shakira's official World Cup song. Better than Waka Waka. I haven't actually heard it, if I'm being honest. Waka Waka was good though, wasn't it? Because of the fact that it was like the South African World Cup. Are you famous for YouTube on Kiwi Lads? Do you have a brother or a sister, bro? Says Petro. So I have a sister. I wouldn't say we're famous for YouTube. Like, people in like my small town know me because of knowing me anyway. Like, not because of doing the channel. It's for AF. Says Cyrus. And also, have you seen the greatest ever try by the Barbars? Oh, they played New Zealand, scored by JPR Williams. That was a real long time ago, wasn't it? You see, Hamish says Marius. If you're talking about Petro, I think Petro might actually not be Petro. I think that Petro might be maybe Petro's like son at a guess. Oops. Definitely with the 6'7" comment. So I think it might actually be like a child of the account, if that makes sense. Now line out here for JJ Kutsia. Thrown in. Oh, nicely taken by Better Steph Toy. We also do see Ollie Kebo has made his way onto the field for Mako Vivas. Told to get out of there, the Barbarians. Looks like they've only half listened. Some of them have just stayed in anyway, hoping for the best. This one's still moving in a very quick direction towards the try line. But Franco Molina, he went straight through the middle. Now, in fact, it was Rodder, and he has got a penalty advantage against him now. And it's going to be now the penalty in favour of South Africa, I believe. We'll kick it in touch. It's my mum's account. There you go. Yep. See, you guys were saying I was missing the signs. I was not missing anything. I was proceeding with caution. I've been watching you since the early days. Hi, Hamish says, Synergy there, welcome in. The New Zealand bookseller gave me a Witcher book for free. But you're still the second best New Zealand friend. You don't say that, WPP. But 33 minutes remaining now. Paul de Villiers makes his way on. Hope that man makes it into the July squad. He has had quite the year already. And Zachary Porthin also on. Ben Jason Dixon comes on the field too. And Untatuka Machuno. So, and even Ruas. Tell you what, they may have just emptied the bench. I'm just looking through and everyone else just continues to go on. But now rolling maul again here for South Africa. New advantage. Have to be careful or else they'll end up with another yellow card here. The Barbarians, they're over for the box. And it is... Who was it? Was it Ben Jason Dixon? Was it Paul de Villiers? Currently they're showing the crowd. It was JJ Kutsia, who does pop up with the try. And the Boks have crazy depth in the forwards. Is Rua's ever going to be a good Springbok? Maybe. It depends. I think that his discipline is something that has heavily let him down in the past. He's a good try scorer. There's absolutely no denying that. He has scored a lot of them throughout the URC season for the Stormers. Though in the big matches when it mattered most, he wasn't able to cross that try line too often, which I think possibly hurt his chances a little bit of getting in the main team. But he's here at the moment, so he just has to make the most of it. And JJ try in 2 minutes, says one Bosch. And get South Africa closer to that half century. And Colby does add the additional 2. 47 points to 26 now. We asked the question, would we get 100 points in this game? Currently, we've got 73. That would mean 4 more converted tries in the last 31 minutes of this game. I think that is more than doable for these two sides. Definitely with how attacking minded they have been and also with the meters that they are making at the moment each time they go for the rolling maul. Ball is there for South Africa again with Grant Williams. He's had some great runs today. That number 9 jersey looking for the charge down was Franco Molina. Couldn't quite get there. Now Barbar slapping it back. It's going to be into the hands of the big man Delgado. Piranara. Almost got the tongue in the right place for that. Piranara, there we go. Now on a way to the left-hand side. Albanos across to Varumi Pakatawa. Oh no, in fact they'll go to Gelant first. He couldn't quite move it on. Now across to Alex Nankervel at Duan van der Merwe on his flank. A good clean out, although that ball almost went onto the side of South Africa. TJ Piranara. I'm going to try and avoid a few of the men in the breakdown, but now Delgado's knocked it on back to Porthin. Thank you, H, for being awake so early. Says Camelot. Yeah, I'm still wide awake at the moment. Even Russ looking to find his way through. Grant Williams pops it up quickly to Riley Norton. That's a name we haven't said in about probably 30 minutes or so. He did score himself a try and he's knocked the ball on the ground. They're saying it there for the wrong reasons. Now scrum feed for the Barbarians. Who was the favourite player or favourite rugby player for the Barbarians? Ooh. I quite like Andrew Kellaway. If I had to pick someone in the starting lineup, I think that Kellaway is a pretty underrated player and has been for a while. Back when he was at the Rebels, he was the best player on their team by far. But because of the results that the Rebels often had, he didn't really get a lot of recognition. Whether or not he's one of the best wingers in Australia at the moment, you'd probably say no, but he still can be extremely solid, give you a lot of work throughout the 80 minutes. And Barbarians are not a rollover well. Is Ruiz on for Jesper? I'm not actually too sure who Ruiz is on for, because they've also got Ben Jason Dixon on. I think Ben Jason Dixon is on for Franco Mostert, but I'm not sure about who. Sorry, that confused me. She had one of those ones how you squeeze it and then your ears go up and down like on the hat. But yeah, what was I saying? The hat distracted me. I don't even remember. I'll just move on. Hello, everyone, says there's Vonday. Welcome in. Alomari was incredible for the Barbars and JPR Williams are my favourite two Barbarians. And 73 points in 50 minutes translates to 116.8 points in 80. It was still on track for the full-time century. Now Alex Nankervel offloads up to Miracle Faialangi. Gets through a couple challenges. Or being dragged down by Andre Esterhazen. Let's have everyone, my boys, every time, says a Finder there. Now Albanos, another little bit of a juggle there from Kebble. Round the back flick pass. Now Virimi Bakatawa fends off Cheslin Colby. Oh no, he should have tried that. He tried a round the back flick pass. Just threw it into touch. That was cool, I can relate, says Daryl. When's the next stream, Hamish Buddy? Next stream, I believe, is going to be next Saturday. Oh, no, that's a lie. Next stream will be on Monday, because we've actually got the All Black squad announcement. So that'll be happening around midday. So that is the next stream that is coming up. Now, line out here for the South Africans. Fakatawa is a beast of a player. Oh, sorry, Fakatawa. Yeah, he's phenomenal. And it was a shame when we saw what happened with him in France. The fact that the Fijian Rua gave him the chance, though, was awesome to see. And now, of course, tearing it up for the Barbarians. Jesse Creel only getting a few metres out from the 5-metre line. Machunu trying to bump off one. That man's got a good chance of being able to score by the end of this game. Do you think 60 says Mohideen? I think so. I think that 2 converted tries is not out of the equation, although knock on there from the South Africans in the breakdown. Now Alex Nankervel, short ball for Virimi Vakatawa, moves it on to Albanos, shut down and suplexed by Cheslin Colby. And we'll go back now for the scrum as the Barbarians playing. Well, who is Barbarians playing next at the same time? They are playing up against the Welsh. Yeah, they got Wales in their next game. And Leinster would have hammered these two teams 50-0, says Ben. And also, thank you. Looking forward to see the team, says Kevin. And of course, not too far after this game as well, Rassi will be announcing his Springbok team. So you might have a couple videos throughout the week or potentially before those next games get underway up against the English about who we would select in the team. We have got there, Visa is going to be bent over by the Barbarians. Or sorry, the Welsh is going to be bent over by the Barbarians. Says WP. 27 minutes remaining. The second half, a little bit similar to that South Africa A versus Zimbabwe game. First half flew by. Second half slowed down. Looks like a couple more changes for the Barbarians here. That looks like Liam McConnell's about to make his way on. So Plexio obviously not a wrestler, says WLK. We kind of did it was the, what do you call it? It was just a suplex from Cheslin Colby. It wasn't like landing on the head or anything. He just kind of pulled him over backwards over his shoulder pretty much. Look at that, Hurricanes would smash them both 100. Nell, says Connor. And I was a waste of time, says Dave Jobert, as in like the game or me? Probably both. And good watch this game, says Ano. It's been the most competitive game of the weekend, which is good. And hopefully that is the way it's going to stay. And has the Barbarians team gotten weak? I don't think so. I think that they've had their moments throughout this game. Yes, Mavisa was tough as Wildebeest Biltong. Well, they are actually going to be checking this one here, I think, for a collision on Untutuko Machunu. Oh, it is the shoulder of Elliot D. This is probably going to be another yellow card. So annoying, that's a penalty at most, says LB. Yes, they're calling it direct shoulder to the head. So this is sounding like a yellow. This will be the 5th yellow card of this game. Number 2, upright. Meets the yellow card threshold. Back to 14 on the field for the Barbarians here again. Now we have got their Barbars might win against Wales depressingly. Says Young Cobra, Elliot D now will spend the next 10 minutes off the field. They probably went a mile away from bringing on Oviedo anyway in terms of that jersey. So now going to have to wait a little bit longer. 5 cards too many. Says Sighted and Unchunu running with his head in the tackle. Should only be a penalty, says Ben. More yellow than an episode of The Simpsons. Says Big Rig. Okay, I think they're just asking the question of whether or not he's allowed to lead with an elbow. So they were just about to bring Oviedo on. But I don't think they're allowed to make that change yet now. But you'd assume they'd now have to make it because they're going for a scrum. So they need a specialist hooker out there on the park. Okay, now they are making that switch. 16 for the Barbarians. Oviedo to make his way on. I'm feeling France are in for a big lesson. Says they are underdog. These yellow cards are terrible, but when you look at how many players, rugby players suffer severe headaches after they retire, I would understand the clampdown on head contact. And we have got there, I've been saying that number 17 is very explosive and powerful ball runner. I would love to see him match up against Pasilio Tossi. Well, Untutuku Machunu, some of the things that he has done throughout the URC season is actually insane. Like the pace off the mark of a lot of the loose head props around the world now is quite scary. You know, you look at Reece Curry, what he was able to do throughout the Curry, or sorry, not the Curry Cup, the Six Nations. And come on, we need more tries, make it a proper exhibition match. There's George. Yeah, the second half slowed down, hasn't it? I think we've only had 2 tries so far, but Vusi Moyo, he's made his way onto the field now. In fact, I think we've only had 1 try, have we? And the second half looks like Duan Whanamurva is about to be taken off the field. That'll more than likely be for Tuidraki Samovorre. I'm a law expert. My understanding would be you need Oviedo for the scrum. You have to sacrifice someone else while Dia's in the sin bin. Surely you can't just sub someone off while he's binned. Says Yanko. Yeah, so they've swapped on Elliot D for... Oviedo on for the forward. So I think the referee was confused because I think he initially thought that they were just bringing him on for the sake of it, but they were bringing him on because of the scrum. That's a penalty going the way of the Barbarians. I think they had 7 men in that scrum. They have somehow been able to get away with the win. In fact, it may have been Nankerville on the flank in that scenario. 54 minutes in now. Albanoz will be able to kick this one towards the touchline to make a proper statement of World Rugby. We should finish this game with at least 100-26. Oh, that one hasn't found touch there for Albanoz. So what would the statement to World Rugby be, though? Like that you shouldn't play the Barbarians anymore and you shouldn't have a warm-up game before July? Or what's the mindset behind sticking it to World Rugby when you've got an exhibition game? And Otutuku good in the loss. Nowhere near Stenenkamp scrum power. Now kicking this one towards the touchline for Vusi Moyo, who has made his way onto the field. They're just saying there, Fuff de Klerk. The crowd is starting to get a little bit loud here. He is going to be playing for the Cheetahs in the next season. He is on for Grant Williams with 25 minutes left to work here. Is he going to go as attacking minded as he was the last time he was in a Springbok kit before he got his injury? I think up against the Barbars, you've got to, don't you? Throw it, see what happens, hope for the best. Definitely when you've got the man advantage. Yeah, line out steal. Andre Hugo Fenta not quite getting that one right, but straight on the ball was De Villiers. Looks like an injury here for Franco Mostert as well. They've dropped him awkwardly. Is your name Callum? No. Maybe we should try and overpower South Africa with Tamaiti Williams, Tokiaho, and Pasilio Tossi. That's probably the biggest front row in the world, pure power. Mostert injured. He doesn't look 100% at the moment, Mostert. It just looked like the way that he landed from the line out maybe crunched down a bit. Ben Jason Dixon, the man who was penalised here, and Albanoz definitely is the one. Oh no, they're giving it to Harry Plummer now. They've decided Albanoz not allowed to do them anymore. We have given the Barbarians, given the Boks the kind of match they need now. I don't think much of Hornet 10, says Robert. And also, Hamish, your name is absolutely Callum. Okay, the box says Herald. Yeah, Stennekamp. Or not Stennekamp, sorry, Mostert. He's still sitting down at the moment here, and they're just trying to assess him. Okay, it's going to remain as a yellow card for Elliot D as well. 17 appearances for the Honda Heat this season. And we just don't have the power. And we have Technic as well. They're just having an argument, TJ Perenara and the referee in the background. So the referee was pretty much saying, I've already had a chat to you about how you've spoken to me. TJ Perenara said, okay, what have I said that's disrespectful? And then they're still going back and forth. And we have there, g'day, Sir Hamish from a hot and sticky 40 degrees Madrid. That's too warm. 40 degrees. And some New Zealand versus England cricket update. England need 418 to win. And they're 45 for 3. Right, Mostert is limping his way off the field here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to see in the replay. Yeah, that ankle of Franco Mostert just seemed like it got tweaked on the way down. We've had a few injuries in the lock-in department for the Box over the last couple of years. Harry Plummer goes across to Alex Nankerville. Now Callaway moving this one out wide to Warakaland. Oh, he almost did his ankle there in the turf. That is starting to rip up a little bit. Cheslin Colby wanted the steal, couldn't get it. Perenara back across there again. Plummer goes to Nankerville, who's been very good at getting the front foot going forward throughout this whole game. Now Grubbard there from Callaway. Loose ball picked up by Fuff de Klerk. Back on the side of the Box. Now moving away to the left-hand side again. Zachary Porthin. Called by McConnell. Now Fuff de Klerk. Short ball to Evan Roos, who almost gets through one, but Perenara hangs on to the ankle. Now de Klerk back across again. Kewenhorn moves it on to Estays and delays his pass. Out to Edward van der Merwe. His last one was denied, so this is now his hat-trick. And he does get his third. G'day, Hamish. And also we have there made a blueprint of the All Blacks for the full power bench. Taukiaho, Tamati Williams, Basilio Tossi, Patrick Tui, Pelotu, Summer Beauty Fina, Ratama Hotham, or Ratama or Hotham, D-Mac Whananuku. And good try, let the ball do the work. Says Ben there. Yeah, just moving it out wide. Fuff de Klerk with the pass to Kewenhorn. And then Estays, and it was just a missed tackle attempt from, I think it was Hillant, who wasn't quite able to fully commit to it. A hat-trick for Edward van der Merwe. Did get a pat on the back from TJ Perenara. An acknowledgement of it as well. 22 minutes now left. The second half felt like a long time. Can you please update the Prem final, says Kahu? Surely by now. I think you asked a while ago and I forgot. But I would have thought you would have looked it up by now, seeing as it was about 10 minutes ago you asked. But it's 12-5 in favour of Northampton. I'm also hesitant to give too many updates for it, though, just in case people want to go watch that afterwards without a spoiler on it. But that kick has gone over, making the score now 52 points to 26. Mary South African chick, Hamish. I remember one of the last World Cup that she had a crush on you. She'll make you some... And biltong. I know biltong. I can't pronounce the other two. Currently sitting about 59 minutes through. Fuff de Klerk. Been on for 6 minutes and has already been involved in a try that has been scored. Edward van der Merwe chasing after that one. Didn't take it clean, but it bounces back onto the side of the Box. No, little knock on from De Villiers there. And Try Cummings says won't believe everything. The only thing that can stop the Springboks this year are injuries, says Darren. And we know by now Colby is not a kicker. Forget that, Project Russie. What do you mean? He's actually had a solid day off the kicking tee so far, Cheslin Colby. What's he missed? 2 kicks out of the 8 that he's attempted. And he also kicked all season for his Japanese side. So, seems like a decent option to me. Has this one turned, or this has turned one-sided. But it has been pretty entertaining. Yeah, both sides are still throwing everything into it, which I think is the best case scenario here. Barbarians, they are down by 26 points now, so they're going to need a momentum shift very soon. They are still with 14 on the field, waiting for D to return. As he's saying, he gets his kicks in Japan? Yes. Well, the thing is, if he's kicking the whole season too, they're not going to, get rid of him out of the... Well, they would have got rid of him out of the kicking, I should say, if he was doing a bad job. Has Pollard lost his mojo? Not really. I mentioned about it earlier on how, the mindset between a URC and a Bok Pollard, completely different. You look at guys for the Sharks who are bang average URC players, but as soon as they get the green and gold on, they change their mindset, they change their way that they play, and they become absolutely world class. And I think Pollard's one of those guys too. Now, this one's going to be kicked in behind. I'll tell you what, Virimi Bakatawa picks that ball up. He felt like he was being held back by Jesse Krill. Ball is still on the side. Bit of a counter ruck from De Villiers, picked up by Callaway. Now Boshier, tackled low by Ruiz. And every breakdown, De Villiers just throws himself into it, hoping for that turnover. Now, short ball, Perenara off to McConnell. Sitting 4 meters out now from the line, Medical. Fire-langi, there he is again. Ben Jason, not Ben Jason, it is De Villiers. Now 5 meters out. Oviedo, short ball, Perenara, popping it up again. It's good, solid defense from South Africa. Perenara back across, rush defense from Peter Stiftatoy on his opposite number in Boshier. Now Perenara back to Nankavel, trying to go through JJ Kutsia. There's a new advantage now in play. Ball pops out the back. Perenara does well to move it. Virimi Vakatawa passes across. Plummer over the top to Callaway, who will jog in the try. That is now his double. And the Barbars, that's their first try of the second half. See, this game seems like it should be over, but you just don't know. And indeed, Hamish Colbeard's been solid on the kicking today, Muscle, says Brett. And also, New Boy's doing well, says Thomas, and Colby is multi-talented. The pass over the top from Harry Plummer, who had a brilliant season for Clermont in the top 14. And Fakatawa, he's had a phenomenal game at this stage. Only 17 and a half minutes on the clock. They are down by 21 currently. This kick would be a handy one to be able to get over for the Barbarians, just to even the score a little bit more. And it's going to be Harry Plummer. Does line up this kick. Scored while playing a man down. Yeah, they should almost be back to full contingency of 15. Where other guys complaining this game is not festival rugby, says WLK. And the Boks need to finish on a high here, says won't believe everything. Yeah, 52-31 now after the 63 minutes. Callaway's got a double. And just showing there the one Barbarian supporter in a group of about 100 Springbok fans. I was very happy with that one. Vusi Moyo kick this one off for the Boks. Oh, and overcooked, or at least overjudged from the Barbarians, which does leave it for Peter Stiftatoy to be able to regather for the Boks. Now Zachary Porthen. Trying to hold him up was Lachlan Boshier. And you see, I told you South African rugby is very bad condition. Says Darius, they're winning this game by 21. They're winning this game by 28. They just scored again. Faf de Klerk gets himself one between the box. It is a big, or one between the posts, sorry, a big welcome back for that man. I love the new look. Mustache and beard looks cool, Hamish. Says Carolyn there. And also, we've got there, who's the Barbies saying get him. Says WP, but Faf de Klerk, first try in a long time. And a Springbok kit. Yeah, it's over for the Barbs. Says War in bad condition. How this is even a first team selection. It's called testing the waters, says Brett. Yeah, this is a very different lineup to what we will see throughout July. Very different to what we'll see in the rivalry tour. And they're still leading at the moment by the 26 with a kick to come for Cheslin Colby, sitting 75% kicking accuracy. And do you think 70? 70 would be 2 more tries. It's doable. I think the 100 points is still well and truly on, though. Colby just using up all the valuable seconds that he can. And then does get it straight down the middle. Hello again, Hamish, says Regan. Welcome in. Your best streamer in the world, says Pedro. And also, where you get that Darius Strange, says Marias. A nice draw and pass from Vusi Moyo. And Colby will score another try for us, says won't believe everything. He probably will. He looks like he's going to be playing the full 80 here. Sitting 7 from 9 off the kicking tee today. And Mr. Hamish says Jerome. It is great that international rugby is nearly back. Of course, this one still kind of is an international friendly. But the July internationals, they are only a couple weeks away. Going to be here all throughout it. Harry Plummer kicks that one off. Nicely taken by Ben Jason Dixon. And get wrestled down to the ground by Liam McConnell. And Leka Fuffy says Arno. And also, guys, it's like 2:45 in the morning in New Zealand. And Legend Hamish here commentating. Why not smash the like button if you're new? Subscribe, says Birdie. Yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. That is going to be another penalty awarded this time for South Africa. A bit of obstruction from McConnell. And thanks for your commitment, Hamish, says Brett Irwin. No worries at all. And yeah, we're going to be up at random hours of the night throughout the next few weeks, that is for sure. We've also got the All Blacks squad announcement that has taken place on Monday. Hamish, you look like you'd be a good fly half. You may be thinking of playing rugby. I'm not in any way, shape or form fit enough, strong enough, quick enough. I can keep listing them as to why I definitely wouldn't go well as a fly half. And doing a great job in streaming, thanks. Sitting in Johannesburg without access to DSTV, thanks. Says Colleen. But yeah, it is greatly appreciated. So many new people popping in for these matches. Anyone who's new, like we said, hit that subscribe button. We're close to the 100,000. Vusi Moyo, short side. We're almost close to the 100 points being scored in this game too. Paul de Villiers. And on the right-hand side now, Evan Roos, 15 metres from the Barbars line. They've already conceded 59 points in this game, which does mean that conceding 64. Oh, that was an awkward landing for Peter Steph Toy, and he has knocked the ball on in the process. And check if you can see me in the crowd in the England versus South Africa match. Says War Plunder. It's going to be a good crowd too. I know that is turning into quite the rivalry one. Yeah, it's an awkward angle. The tackle was made by Santiago Arata, the Uruguayan. So we're going to get to see Uruguay play up against the South Africans in the Under-20 World Championship next week. Any ideas of who the AB's captain will be? It's a real debate from what I've seen. Artie Savio, I think, is the one who's going to get it. Purely because he's already had that communication with Rennie. I think he played for Rennie's Japanese side too. So it just makes sense. Long time, mate. The Box are bringing it all over again, says Alistair. Welcome in. And it is great to have so many familiar faces back for the Bok campaign that is coming up. They've got England, they've got Scotland, and they've got Wales for the upcoming internationals. But we've still got 13 minutes remaining of this matchup. We've got 90 points total. So 10 points away from the century. It's scrum feed now for the Barbarians. Still inside of their own 22. Are you excited for Father's Day? Well, I actually Googled it earlier. And Father's Day for us here in New Zealand isn't until September. So we actually have to wait a few more months before we do the kind of celebration side of things. But it is still Father's Day elsewhere. So, of course, the happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I think it's tomorrow, right? Even though it would be today, New Zealand time. But tomorrow, in 10 hours, less than that. Listening from Scotland, says Dennis. Oh, sorry, that was Denise. Did you fall asleep on the keyboard when you were typing up the Barbars number 23? Yeah, that is Tuadraki Sama Vorre, the Fijian international. Normally tears it up in Super Rugby. It's quite a fun name to say after a while. Definitely when he is scoring tries. Thank you so much, Amish, for the excellent coverage. But yeah, we've got plenty more coming up. So be sure, everyone, to hit that subscribe button. I think we're close to 82,000 at the moment. So we're methodically getting towards that 100 mark. 1 second, we'll go like this. Yeah, we're currently about 700 away from the 82, so we're slowly but surely going in the right direction. Miracle Faialangi to place that one off the back of the scrum, but the penalty is won by the South Africans. Great numbers on the stream and the scoreboard. Nice one, Hamish. says Scott there. Oh, great numbers. Sorry, yeah. And go down the box, says Johanna. Now kicked into touch again. Hamish sitting in his boxer shorts. I have pants on. I could sit in the boxers and you guys wouldn't know. But no, I got like long pants on. It's not very warm here. So it seemed like a good idea to have something slightly warmer. But JJ Kutsia now. Line out again for the box. They were able to score off their last rolling maul. That one slapped back though and a knock on from Evan Russ. Wasn't the best distribution of the ball to him. Maybe a few brandies or whatever you drink in New Zealand. Help with saying that name, says Yanko. And as I go back now. I see here JJ Kutsia. It was, and then Riley Norton, he actually used his outside hand to slap it back onto their side. So it almost could have been called as not straight. Just rejoined. How many Bok injuries so far? Just Mostert at this point in time. I don't think there's been any others. Andre Hugo Fent, a little bit of a cut on the forehead. Colby the same. But other than that, I don't think we've seen any others that I can think of anyway. Yes to tomorrow, Daddy, says Johanna. And also nice scoreline from both sides. At least it's high scoring. And considering the hype, how has Evan done so far? He's touched the ball like twice. He's done all right, but he did knock the ball on just then. Ever considered shaving your head? Yeah. I actually had to last year because the Springboks beat the All Blacks really badly. So I ended up getting a buzz cut. Champions are back, says CSW. Now into the final 10 of this contest. The Barbarians, they have scored one try in the second half. It's going to be kicked downfield by Arata. Oh, that's an awkward one. I don't know what happened to Apalele Fasi. Yeah, I think he slipped over and then fell on his face and then almost headbutted the ball into touch. I hope Pollock is in good health, or has good health insurance for the Springbok game, says Darren. It's currently about 14 degrees in Centurion, Pretoria. No sun. Riley Norton will be the next Springbok captain, says Alistair. Might have a repeat of that haircut then. Hamish, what do you predict? Not yet. I think it's definitely going to be, or within the next few years, I think it's just going to be the full-time haircut. But for now, I'm going to hopefully keep the longer hair. It seems like it's raining at the moment at the ground, or at least the way that the camera looked seemed like it may have been. And awesome commentary, thank you, says Thunderbolt. Yeah, 9 minutes left. And then we've got, of course, the whole Springboks year ahead that we are going to be covering on the channel. Are you an All Blacks fan? I like the All Blacks. I'm a fan of a lot of international sides, though. I've got used to being impartial. So it's very easy to watch a game down the middle and just enjoy watching both teams. But yeah, like I like mainly the two that we cover on the channel the most are the Boks and the All Blacks. But then we've covered a lot of Fijian rugby. We've covered a lot of Northern Hemisphere stuff. We always cover the Six Nations. Now Arata. It's the ball into the scrum this time. Big push from South Africa, and they get the penalty again, even though they managed to get the ball out. The Barbarians, it's Untutoko Machuno, the big man who manages to get a solid shove in. Now, again, Vusi Moyo will be able to put this ball into touch. Definitely not raining in Port Elizabeth. Must have just been the camera angle then, because, yeah, it looked like there was a whole heap of, like, moisture coming down from the angle that they showed of Apalele Fasi. Maybe it was actually someone's boot. Or like someone may have like, you know how sometimes when they rip the grass a little bit, sometimes it can pop up and make it look like rain. JJ Kutsia throws it in this time, taken nicely by Evan Russ. This one, another advantage for the Barbarians, dragging it down. Buff de Klerk. Way to the right-hand side again to Riley Norton. On to Clerk again, back across to the right, finds the hands of Ben Jason Dixon. Hello everyone, says Annie. And also New Zealand or South Africa, if you had to choose, I'd say both. I feel like trying to choose is just trying to cause drama. But now another penalty goes the way of South Africa. Quick tap taken by Buff de Klerk, short side chance, yeah, just turned onto the back, 1 metre short of the line. Now, Faf de Klerk again leaves it alone for Evan Roos. Be half an inch short. They've got Untatuku Machunu right on his flank, but he's going to go instead to Ben Jason Dixon. Untatuku Machunu, he thinks he's going to score here, the big man. The way that he's lurking next to that breakdown, I think they're going to struggle to stop him. He's gone close, but again, just short. Now, Vusi Moyo fires out a very nice pass. Short ball to Creel. Can he get it down? He is. He might also be knocked out underneath the Barbarians player. Looks like he took a bit of an elbow on the way through in the process of scoring. But South Africa have got the 64 points now. It will turn into 66 as it's straight between the posts. But this game just keeps on going up and up and up in terms of the points. Get in there, says Alistair. A great try, Creel, unstoppable near the try line. We have got there. There's only one time I've seen H actually look gutted in a live reaction loss. I'll just leave it at that, says the underdog. If you're referring to the World Cup final, I don't think I was that bothered about it. Oh, I know what one you're talking about, maybe. New Zealand, India on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel in the T20. That one, I did show a lot of bias towards New Zealand from like 3 years ago. In fact, it might have been 4 years. We have you there, Pollock. Better get a good medical plan when he plays the box. Says Thunderbolts. Well, I just hope the amount of people who are all going, we're going to injure him, we're gonna hurt him and all that. I just hope that the box use some brains rather than just going out and trying to get him, because all they're going to do is get themselves suspended doing something stupid. Like, you got to beat him on the field, and then, you know, if you get the shot to put in a hit legally, you do it. But, you know, can you trust a Jesper Visa to use the brain enough to not do something dumb because of all of the noise about how they've got to try and hurt a young player because he's offended everyone by celebrating things? Now, cross kick there. That's gone straight into touch from Harry Plummer. So again, it will give another chance for the South Africans on the attack. And we have got there, I've always found you refreshingly impartial, Hamish. And South Africa says Brandon. Your thoughts on Vusi Moyo? Bright future for that man. He is one of those guys that you definitely want to keep an eye on over the kind of next, I'd say, 5, even 10 years. Winner of the bot group announced for the Nations Cup. I believe it's actually going to be after this game. I'm not sure how close after it. Do you want to be a ref in the URC? No. I'd hate to be a referee in general, because like, you could have a perfect game, people will still abuse you. Same as players, you know, you'd have a perfect game, you make one mistake, here comes Andre Esterhuizen, and he runs over another try, and that is now the 100 points from this contest. It seemed like it was destined to happen. And we have got their fans as stupid players aren't. Most players aren't. There's the occasional one that you see a brain fade and you go, why have you done that? But other than that, most of them have some sort of control. Fire Nanuku and Esterhuizen collide. The rapture will happen, although Fire Nanuku out injured. He's broken his leg, so he will not be playing. We have got there, you want a jacket or not, Emmy? Says Stan. Wait, I want a jacket or not? What's going on with the jacket? A jacket size, Hamish? I assume I can fit into a medium on a good day. Normally I'm a large though. Now moving forward here for JJ Kutsia. 19 has to get back on side here. Currently we are 73 points to 31 through this game. This one has been a fatiguing old pace. Appears Steph Toy is going to give young lad Pollock a schooling and playing hard test rugby, says Hannes. And I can guarantee you the box setup has changed under Rassi. They won't target Pollock. There's more of a supporter issue. Rassi will focus on just beating the English convincingly. The large is coming your way, says Nomsa. And do a medium stand. A medium means that I have to stay in shape. So that's one slight benefit of it. You know. Going away to the left-hand side. Skip pass from Liam McConnell. Speaking of celebrations, what do you think about Henry Pollock? See, my opinion of Henry Pollock annoys people. Just like Henry Pollock annoys people. But I find it incredible how many people... Oh, that's passed right off the head. But yeah, I find it incredible how many people get so worked up over a young English player. Like, some people's whole rugby personalities now is hating Henry Pollock. A guy that they've never met, a guy that they've never played up against. Like, it's quite almost incredible the reaction that he draws. Like, if he was in the UFC, he'd be selling pay-per-view numbers for days. If he's in WWE, they'd stick a title on him because of the way that he gets a reaction. So, like, I think that he's a phenomenal player in terms of, like, he's done very well for the young English team in the under-20s. He's done decently for the Northampton Saints. But, like, yeah, I think that some people need to remember that this is just a game. And at the end of the day, whether or not Henry Pollock is playing rugby or not, it's not going to change your life, you know? Is he cocky? Absolutely. Is he arrogant? Absolutely. Is he a good player every once in a while? Absolutely. But there are many other players who have had cockiness behind them, and some of them get celebrated. But because he's English, I think that also makes people not like him more. Now, close to the line here for the South Africans again. Oh, big knock on. As they were looking to get the attack going, Virumi Fakatawi just throws that ball into touch. Form a trio with Logan Paul and MJF. Says Big Rig. The Box focus on their own players in the team, not Pollard's acting. Says, was there from Ben. Razor losing to the Springboks again. What is new? Says WLK. There was always going to be that one. I did call it out near the start of the game how someone was going to go, oh, look at Razor. He's lost. But I thought it was going to be a New Zealander, to be fair. With about 10 seconds remaining in this contest. Well said, Amish says the breakdown. He's not going too good when he is in South Africa nightclub and he meets the boys with girlfriend on arm. And we have their Razor is blunt now, says Heaney. And they improved their defence before the next game, says Desmond. Last scrum. I don't think the Barbars will kick this ball into touch. I'd be surprised if they did anyway. They're going to try and run it off with Miracle Fire-Lungi. Now drag down their Plummer. And a penalty awarded to South Africa. Right, I think they'll go for one last attack here too. It's Paul de Villiers, the turnover machine in the Stormers URC season. Zachary Porthan's on the line and does score the last try. 111 points in this game now. Pretty high scoring. Again, though, not a close game for this weekend. It looked close at halftime, but sadly that's not the case. Is Perenara still on the field? No, they got a Rata out there a little while ago. Bit of a hiding, eh? Yeah. It's nice that the Barbars got 31 points, though. Just because, you know, like 80 points to, let's say, 7 or something like that would have looked quite rough. But at least they got some good tries. They were entertaining. Throughout this 80 minutes, the Barbars, 5 yellow cards between these two sides was a bit of a shame. But discipline, I think, would improve as we head into July. And thanks for the great game commentary, Hamish, says Brett. And the Box look tired and bored, says Robert. Well, they'll be enjoying the ice baths after this game then, because they've certainly earned them. I had it 100 to 25. And Demolition says subjective funny. Now, Vusi Moyo. Let's get the kicker. Oh, that's fancy. They've done that throughout the whole game with like the fireworks on top of the post. If they have, I've never seen it throughout the rest of it. But the win now, it is 80 points to 31. And a successful matchup here for the Springboks. A mixed team has been able to potentially book a few more players' spots in Russie's overall lineup. Do you ever sleep after your streams? Yeah, normally, because it's currently 3:04 a.m. New Zealand time, so probably will get some sleep at some stage. Too many league tries against a side of players of various nationalities who have not had much time together. Who scored the tries for the Bok? So, I'll get the list out because there is a list. 1 second. Go like this. And we'll go like that. Right. So, try scorers for the Boks were Zachary Porthan, Andre Esterhazen, Jesse Krill, Faf de Klerk, Edwald van der Merwe got 3, JJ Kutsia, Cheslin Colby, Riley Norton, Peter Steph de Toy. I think that's everyone. Somewhere around there. Very impressed with Fusi Moyo. And also, wherever they conceded 31 points, could bite you in the in other games. Like, he had to put 80 on them this time. And enjoy your 30-minute sleep before golf. Yeah, it's probably going to feel like 30 minutes. It won't feel like a massive amount of time. For the Barbarians, try scorers were Varumi Fakatawa, Franco Molina, Andrew Callaway, TJ Perenara. They were the try scorers. And then also Andrew Callaway in the second half. They only got 5 points throughout that second half, the Barbarians. So it was actually the bench of the box that did seem to defend a lot better. And then the starting lineup, St. Francis Bay, salute you, Hamish, and thank you for your excellent commentary. And also, so large Springbok sweater than Hamish, says Stan. Large is safer, I would say, because a medium, you know, if I like go into a bulk the off season, not like a good bulk, just a literal eating bad food, then I probably wouldn't fit in a medium. Anyway, there, love your work, Hamish, says Eldrin, thank you very much. And is it over now? It is indeed. The end score, 80 points to 31. 111 points scored between these two sides. Thanks for your commentary. Enjoyed it very much, Hamish. Much better than others I've listened to. Says, Hannes, thank you very much. And we are here all throughout the Springboks season. We've got the greatest rivalry tour that we're going to be doing on the channel too. And also all the July internationals that we can squeeze in. Plus a couple games next week. Not involving the box though. They won't be in action, but Japan XV versus the Māori All Blacks. Barbarians will be in action next week up against Wales. Is there still time to come back? No. And Timmins GSH says the AI there. And Riley Norton says, Mlos, yeah, he had a solid game in that locking duo. There are a lot of players who stepped up big time. Edward van der Merwe is probably one of those guys who's been unlucky over the last couple of years. But I think he's booked himself a Springbok spot, surely. In terms of the squad, sad not seeing Callaway, not on the Wallaby spot. Yeah, he's a solid player, Andrew Callaway. And he actually had a really good game here. You got it the same as says Normsa, thank you very much. And what game are you streaming next? I would like to be there. So yeah, next weekend we've got Japan XV versus Māori All Blacks. That is Saturday night for us here in New Zealand. Barbarians in action up against the Welsh. And then also on Monday, although it is going to be a pretty brutal time for you guys in South Africa, Monday at about 2 a.m, the All Blacks announced their squad. Why don't you show us the game? Because it would be illegal. Any match footage or audio would get us taken straight off YouTube with a copyright strike. We'd be banned for 3 months. We'd be potentially sued by DSTV and could end up either facing prison time or a fine of up to about 250,000 Rand. So I'd prefer not to do that. But you can find it on DSTV. You can find it on Sky Sport here in New Zealand. You can find it sometimes on Stan Sport, depending on the game. I think it was available in the UK too. And thanks so much, better, or so much, H. Better listening to you than watching the game. Says Jan Sneyman. Number Big Boy said we will do double. Says Nate. And TJ has a mouth on him. He's always had a mouth on him, to be fair, for Perenara. And as South African, I was not happy with the ref and how he treated the Barbarians. Says Seller. And that game says Heather, no worries at all. But nonetheless, ladies and gents, it's currently 3:08 a.m. here in New Zealand. I think that Rassi was going to be announcing his side pretty close after this game. So now I have to make a decision. Do I stay up waiting for that announcement or do I go to bed? I'm going to quickly check the time while we're still here and see if it does have... You see, it's got the time that he's going to announce it for the season opener. But when is he going to be announcing the English one? The Springboks will announce the first test squad. Right, this is the one that we need. Where is it? They will announce it. It will be announced on Sunday, the 21st of June. That's tomorrow. Well, at least that's tomorrow for us here in New Zealand. That'll be tomorrow. Wait. No, that's today for us here in New Zealand. Tomorrow for you guys in South Africa. So we don't actually... No, he's not going to announce it right now because of the fact that there could have been injuries, I guess, from this game. And there's probably a lot of decisions to be made. So, yeah, we'll get that video out tomorrow, though, ladies and gents, once they do announce it. I hope that I'm right in that call and that they're not going to randomly announce it quickly in terms of just randomly in the next hour or two. I think a lot of the old guard will not be in it. They'll be brought on strategically throughout the year. And life passes when you sleep, says Xander. It does, but it also makes it so that when you're awake after sleeping, that you can enjoy life more. That sounded really deep. It wasn't supposed to, but I guess it's kind of true. I don't think Riley Norton was good, although he scored. Oh, he was solid, yeah. I think Riley Norton had a solid game out there on the field. I would say that he has done enough to be in the equation. Now, I think Rassi might also decide to just let him play for the Under-20s Championship because that is starting next week. And you'd have to argue having him in the environment would be a massive booster for the Under-20s as a whole. Rassi wouldn't want to take him out of there to not play him a huge amount. So, yeah, I think that it would be intriguing in terms of the selection of whether they go down the Norton path or whether they leave it for potentially the more experienced heads. Voici Moyo is very special. Thanks, Hamish. You earned a good sleep, but thank you so much, Hamish. Always top class. And also thanks for the coverage, Hamish T. Stewart. No worries at all. But yeah, nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like. And also, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to the 82,000. Like I said, we will be back next week. We will be back with plenty of videos coming up in the very near future as well. And I will see you all for the next one.